What? Liu Qimin and Zhang Yuxiu looked over simultaneously, both surprised. It's really moving. Zhu Jianshan also looked over in amazement. The previously motionless seed started to wobble as it swelled. He was both shocked and secretly furious. Just when the beauty was about to be in his grasp, the seed reacted. His current mood was like being abruptly interrupted at the height of passion. Feeling particularly displeased, he snorted. Even if it's moving, it doesn't mean anything. It only shows that the fake Qi Cultivation liquid contains a bit of spiritual energy. However, just as he finished speaking, the seed, having swelled to the extreme, cracked and sprouted. A verdant green shoot grew rapidly. 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. Chen Silin's face suddenly burst with joy and exclaimed excitedly, "Mother, 3 inches. It's 3 inches. It's really top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. He didn't deceive us." Zhu Jianshan couldn't believe it. How is this possible? How could there be a second-grade soul master within the green Cloud Sect? Could it be that he got his top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid from the black market in green Cloud Sect? He thought about it and arrived at only one explanation. But at this moment, Chen Silin suddenly covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Wait, it's still growing." Everyone stared intently, and indeed, the shoot continued to grow slowly until it reached 3.5 inches before it slowly stopped. Chen Silin clenched her fists in excitement and said, 3.5 inches. Does this mean that our family senior's top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid is of a higher quality than that of the soul masters from Green Cloud Sect? Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuxiu was also shocked and said, "Shen, didn't you say that this soul master from the Chen family was a fake? Why is it that the top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid he refined isn't just real, but it's also stronger than the one from Green Cloud Sect?" This question stumped Zhu Jianshan. He looked into the secret chamber where the unknown second-grade soul master was, no longer daring to show any disrespect. All he felt was awe. However, the confidence with which he had made his earlier assertions now seemed like a slap in his own face. Unwillingly, he muttered softly, "Even if he is a second-grade soul master, it doesn't necessarily mean he's better than the ones from our Green Cloud Sect. The soul masters of our Green Cloud Sect are veterans who have gone through numerous battles. Perhaps this senior just happened to refine a slightly better batch of top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid." At this, even Chen Silin, who had deep respect and admiration for Jiang Fan, did not see any issue. The soul master seniors of the Green Cloud Sect were renowned figures. They had refined countless spirit pills in their lifetime. In contrast, Jiang Fan was still young. Just a single bottle of Qi Cultivation liquid was far from enough to prove that he surpassed the seniors of Green Cloud Sect. But at this moment, a dull sound suddenly echoed from the closed secret chamber. A wisp of faint red smoke drifted out, spreading into the air, instantly filled the courtyard with an enchanting fragrance of medicinal herbs. Just by inhaling a breath, the faces of Zhang Yuxiu and Liu Qimin, 2 middle-aged women, showed a look of fascination. "What is this? It somewhat resembles beauty pills, but the fragrance is much more superior." As noblewomen of Lonely Boat City, they had always used expensive beauty pills, so they immediately recognized the type of medicinal fragrance. However, compared to this fragrance, the high-end beauty products they were used to seemed extremely inferior. Zhu Jianshan looked puzzled. The soul master seniors of Green Cloud Sect once said that the higher the grade of the pills, the more intense the fragrance when they are refined. "Miss Chen, what kind of pills is this senior refining?" Chen Silin was also stunned. Staring unblinkingly at the secret chamber, she said in a tone of disbelief, "He said he was refining Beauty Restore pills." Zhu Jianshan had never heard of this pill before. Zhang Yuxiu was shocked and exclaimed, "The legendary pill that can turn white hair black and rejuvenate the skin, Beauty Restore pill?" Liu Qimin trembled with excitement. "Siling, you mustn't say such things lightly. This is a 3rd-grade spirit pill. No one in the world can refine it." This kind of legendary pill had a devastating allure for women, especially those who were older. No one could resist. Chen Silin said, "The senior took away the Forget River bean, said he wanted to refine Beauty Restore pills, and promised to give me one as payment for the materials. Just not sure if the one refined now is the Beauty Restore pill." Upon hearing this, Liu Qimin excitedly grasped Chen Silin's shoulders. "Did he really say he would give you one?" "Great, great, great, my good daughter, you have given me an immense surprise. Handing over the family business to you was the best decision of my life." Chen Silin's eye twitched slightly. When her father was seriously ill, and the family members recommended Chen Silin take over the family business, her mother was the first to oppose. She thought Chen Silin was too young and that the family business should be managed by herself, the main lady. But since she never actually took part in managing the business, the family members worried she wouldn't be able to handle it and insisted on letting Chen Silin take charge. This caused a rift between the mother and daughter. Now, with a beauty restore pill, her mother's attitude changed 180 degrees instantly. Zhang Yuxiu, on the other hand, became anxious. The thought of someone else having a miraculous item like the beauty restore pill when she did not was more unbearable than death. Siling, my dear, you must help Auntie get one too. No matter the price, I'm willing to pay. Chen Silin immediately shook her head. Such a soul master senior isn't someone who will heed my request so easily. I can only ask whether the senior is willing to sell one to you. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuxiu was overjoyed and hurriedly took off the valuable jade bracelet on her wrist, stuffing it into Chen Silin's hand. My dear Auntie is counting on you. As long as you plead on my behalf, regardless of the outcome, this jade bracelet is yours. Chen Silin was startled. This bracelet was worth 10,000 taels of silver. She hurriedly waved her hands. No, I can't accept it. It's too valuable. Clack at this moment. The stone door of the secret chamber opened. Amid the faint red smoke, Jiang Fan looked at the 3 crimson beauty restore pills in his palm. The best one among them was a top-grade beauty restore pill. The other 2 were low-grade beauty restore pills. He planned to use the top-grade beauty restore pill as part of the betrothal gift. As for the remaining 2 pills, one was promised to Chen Silin, and the other one could be sold. He just didn't know how much it was worth. Thinking of this, he stored away 1 top-grade and 1 low-grade beauty restore pill and put the last beauty restore pill into a jade bottle and walked out of the secret chamber. Only then did he notice that besides Chen Silin, there were 3 others in the yard. One of whom was Zhu Jianshan, the green Cloud Sect disciple who had competed with him for the betrothal gift just the day before. Senior, how did the refining go? Chen Silin asked cautiously. Jiang Fan smiled and tossed the jade bottle in his hand to her. This is yours. Chen Silin took it and immediately felt the extraordinary nature of the pill even through the jade bottle. Beauty restore pill? Liu Qimin snatched it over excitedly and examined it closely. That's right. It's exactly like the beauty restore pill illustration your grandfather once drew. I've seen it countless times. Daughter, may I have it? Chen Silin was speechless. She had no doubt that if she dared to say no, Liu Qimin would disown her on the spot. You better ask the senior. Chen Silin didn't dare make the decision. Jiang Fan said indifferently, since it's given to you, you can decide for yourself. Then he started to leave. Zhang Yuxiu quickly bowed deeply and respectfully said, Senior, may I ask if you have any extra beauty restore pills? Chen Silin also immediately spoke up. Senior, this is Mrs. Zhu. Her son is a green Cloud Sect disciple. Could you sell her a beauty restore pill? Oh, Zhu Jianshan's mother? Jiang Fan smiled meaningfully and then left. Zhu Jianshan, with a nearly worshipful fervor in his eyes, rushed to block Jiang Fan's way and knelt down with a thud. Green Cloud Sect disciple Zhu Jianshan pays respects to the senior. This was a soul master capable of refining 3rd-grade spirit pills. This meant his rank was 3rd grade, a rare 3rd-grade soul master. In front of him, the 2nd-grade soul masters of the Green Cloud Sect bowed their heads and addressed themselves as disciples. This was an intimidating, peerless powerhouse. If he didn't seize the opportunity, he would deserve to live in the lowest tier of the martial world forever. Jiang Fan looked down at him and said indifferently, What is it? Zhu Jianshan's heart raced wildly, and he stammered, Senior, I admire the soul master path. I am willing to offer all the Zhu family's wealth if you would take me as your disciple. Though it was abrupt, Zhu Jianshan understood that meeting a 3rd-grade soul master was like hitting the jackpot. To utter a word with him was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he didn't speak quickly, he might lose the chance forever. Jiang Fan laughed. First, he tried to steal my woman, then he knelt down to beg to be my disciple. He straightforwardly said, You are not qualified. With that, he started to leave. Zhang Yuxiu panicked and slapped Zhu Jianshan, scolding, Are you crazy? Don't you see your own status? How dare you try to cling to a senior? A 3rd-grade soul master. Was that something their little Zhu family could attach themselves to? Even the Green Cloud Sect master would kneel before such a peerless figure. A regular disciple of the Green Cloud Sect wanted to become his disciple. He looked like a clown. Moreover, he angered the senior, jeopardizing their chance to get the beauty restore pill. She hurriedly chased after him, bowing repeatedly and apologizing. Senior, I'm sorry, my son has never seen the world. Please forgive him. About the beauty restore pill, could you please show some leniency? Chen Silin also cast a disdainful glance at Zhu Jianshan. Didn't he have any self-awareness? To want to be a disciple upon first meeting, it was sheer madness. She then respectfully looked at Jiang Fan and softly said, "Senior, could you extend our Chen family some courtesy and please sell one more beauty restore pill? I'm sure Mrs. Zhu is willing to pay any price." Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuxiu felt immense gratitude. Just with this sentence, she knew her jade bracelet worth 10,000 taels hadn't been given to Chen Silin in vain. Oh, Jiang Fan pondered. The beauty restore pill seemed even more popular than he had expected. Liu Qimin and Zhang Yuxiu, the two top ladies of Lonely Boat City, were so fervent. After a slight consideration, Jiang Fan took out a low-grade beauty restore pill and said, "Indeed, there's still one bottle. However, I'm not sure about its value. If I ask too high, Mrs. Zhu would suffer. Too low, I would suffer. Let's do this. Hold a bidding auction and the highest bidder wins." With that, he threw the beauty restore pill to Chen Silin. "I'll leave it to your Chen family to organize." This action nearly made Chen Silin scream. She quickly ran to catch it with both hands. This was a beauty restore pill. To toss it casually like an ordinary item if it were to break, what a loss that would be. Yet she immediately showed immense gratitude, exclaiming, "Rest assured, Senior, we'll definitely hold a grand auction." A third-grade spirit pill, and an incredibly rare beauty restore pill at that. Once auctioned, what a commotion it would cause. At least the noblewomen of Lonely Boat City would be restless. By then, the scene Chen Silin felt a surge of excitement. This was an excellent opportunity to elevate the status of the Chen family after Jiang Fan left. Zhang Yuxiu lamented, "Alas, if it's an auction, I might not win this pill. Those old women would be willing to offer their husbands and sons for the beauty restore pill." Chen Silin covered her mouth and giggled. At the same time, Liu Qimin, with a look of satisfaction, swallowed the beauty restore pill. In front of everyone, her gray hair turned black, the wrinkles on her face smoothed out at a visible speed, and her skin became white and tender. In her 40s, she transformed, looking like a youthful woman in her early 30s. Standing with Chen Silin, they appeared more like sisters than mother and daughter. In just a few breaths, a middle-aged woman became a youthful one. Such a world-shattering transformation stunned Zhang Yuxiu. This is the effect of the beauty restore pill." Her breath quickened, and she pulled Zhu Jianshan up. "Let's go. Go home immediately and prepare the money. No matter the cost, I must win this beauty restore pill. I must." As for the critical matter of her son's marriage to Su Yoren, she had already thrown it beyond the nine-layered heaven. When Jiang Fan returned home, Su Yoren was anxiously searching for him. Fan, did you hear? The Chen family is preparing to auction a beauty restore pill." Her face was full of surprise. "The whole noblewomen's circle in Lonely Boat City is buzzing with it. Even the city lord's wife declared she must get it. For this, she even had a fierce argument with the city lord." "Really?" Jiang Fan touched his nose. He hadn't even reached home, yet news had spread throughout the city. Moreover, the beauty restore pill's appeal was indeed too immense. Seeing Su Yoren's astonished expression, Jiang Fan asked in surprise, "Do you also want the beauty restore pill?" Su Yoren was in the prime of her youth and beauty. It would be of no use to her. "How could I dare think that?" Su Yoren laughed and cried. "With so many noblewomen vying for it, what am I? I just thought of father. Over the years, he has exhausted himself for the Su family, aging rapidly." Jiang Fan nodded slightly. He recalled that when he came to the Su family 10 years ago, Su Zhengyan was still a vigorous middle-aged man with bright eyes. 10 years later, he was worn out and haggard. Standing with the well-maintained Wang Yingfeng, they looked like people of two different age groups. "It will happen." Jiang Fan smiled knowingly. Su Yoren sighed, "Don't speak so casually, it's not something I can even touch." While they were conversing, Su Zhengyan appeared out of nowhere, standing at a corner and quietly beckoned them over. The two walked over in surprise. Su Zhengyan confirmed there was no one around and carefully took out a bundle of silver notes. The large ones were 10,000 taels, the small ones 100 taels. Sparsely, it amounted to 10,000 taels in total. He stuffed them all into Su Yoren's hands. "Father, what's this?" Su Yoren asked in astonishment. Su Zhengyan's eyes showed a trace of guilt. "These are the private savings I've accumulated over the years. I intended to secretly give them to you after your marriage, to help you and your husband live well. I didn't expect your stepmother to demand such exorbitant betrothal gifts. Take this money, go to the Chen family's auction tomorrow, and bid for that beauty restore pill." Su Zhengyan sighed. "Your stepmother is now in a frenzy, determined to get that beauty restore pill." If you use it as a betrothal gift, even if she disagrees with your marriage, she will endure it for the pill. Su Yoren was speechless. Looking at Su Zhengyan's aged appearance, tears of emotion welled up in her eyes. She never thought Su Zhengyan cared for her. She thought he only cared about her sister, Su Yining. Tomorrow, accompany Yoren and try to win it. I hope, ultimately, that you will marry Yoren. Su Zhengyan patted Jiang Fan's shoulder, showing rare approval. After speaking, he looked around and quietly left. Jiang Fan felt a sense of comfort, so he still has his eldest daughter in his heart. Just that, for the family's interest, he had to care more for the younger daughter. This future father-in-law wasn't entirely useless. However, looking at the silver notes in Su Yoren's hands, Jiang Fan's forehead was full of black lines. Spending money to bid on his own item. Who would believe it if told? The next day, Jiang Fan left the house with Su Yoren, feeling both amused and helpless, and they arrived at the treasure pavilion. Today's auction was to be held inside the treasure pavilion. Just as the two arrived, two people hurriedly walked up behind them. It was Wang Yingfeng, accompanied by Su Yining. Seeing Jiang Fan and Su Yoren, Wang Yingfeng was visibly taken aback, then frowned and said, "Are you here to bid for the Beauty Restore pill as well?" Su Yoren bowed slightly and nodded. Wang Yingfeng, still holding a grudge against Jiang Fan for the embarrassment he had caused her, snorted, "Don't think that just because you know Chen Silin, you can secure the Beauty Restore pill. Soon, you'll witness the true strength of the Su family." With that, she and Su Yining quickly walked into the treasure pavilion. Jiang Fan sighed lightly and said, "Yoren, having someone like her in the Su family is a curse, not a blessing." The Su family didn't even think of using the family's resources when the Qin family was demanding repayment. Yet, she's willing to use the family's resources just to preserve her looks. Su Yoren pursed her lips. Over the years, Su Zhengyan had been secretly saving up his pocket money, reluctant to spend it frivolously. But Wang Yingfeng, for the sake of her appearance, squandered the family's money recklessly. However, what could she do about it? "Let's go, we'll do our best to bid for the Beauty Restore pill." The two walked in side by side. Her stunning beauty, like a crane among chickens, immediately drew everyone's attention. "Ahem. Yoren, you're here too?" Zhu Jianshan, sitting in the front row, immediately smiled and quickly approached. Seeing Jiang Fan beside her, his expression immediately turned sour. "Do you belong in a place like this? Do you know what's happening here? This is an auction for the Beauty Restore pill." Jiang Fan shook his head and wrote, "If it weren't for young Master Zhu's reminder, I really wouldn't have known." Reading the obviously mocking words, Zhu Jianshan grew even more displeased. "You pretentious fool, do you think possessing 510,000 taels and standing in the auction room means you can stand on equal footing with me? Do you see the seating arrangement here? Here, the seating arrangement represents identity, status, and foundation," he shouted confidently. "My Zhu family sits in the front row, whereas you don't even have the right to sit. You can only stand. Shaming yourself is one thing, but taking Yoren down with you." As he spoke, he turned and looked at Su Yoren, ignoring her cold expression, and smiled. "Yoren, come sit with the Zhu family? My mother also wants to meet you." He even reached out, trying to pull Su Yoren over. Jiang Fan unobtrusively stood in front of him, blocking his dirty hand, and wrote, "No need, my Yoren prefers to stand." "Right, Yoren." Su Yoren smiled and nodded, affectionately holding on to Jiang Fan's arm. This caused Zhu Jianshan's eyes to narrow. He considered Su Yoren his woman. How could he tolerate another man touching her? At this moment, the shopkeeper of the treasure pavilion happened to walk by. He immediately called out, "Shopkeeper Qin." Seeing it was the young master of the Zhu family, a disciple of the Green Cloud Sect, Shopkeeper Qin quickly bowed respectfully. "Young Master Zhu, your esteemed presence brings glory to our humble pavilion." Zhu Jianshan straightened up and said, "I'm here to support the treasure pavilion today, but I don't like this person. Please have him removed." Shopkeeper Qin turned to see who he was pointing at and was stunned. It was Jiang Fan, Su Yoren's fiancé. Feeling troubled, he said, "Young Master Zhu, Miss Su is a friend of our eldest lady. How can I drive away her fiancé?" What? He couldn't even drive away a good-for-nothing. This made Zhu Jianshan lose face. Furious, he said, "If he doesn't leave, then I will." This, not wanting to offend Zhu Jianshan, Shopkeeper Qin hastily bowed. "Young Master Zhu, please wait. I'll go consult the eldest lady immediately." Watching his hurried departure, Zhu Jianshan glared at Jiang Fan. "You dog! I'll show you the Zhu family's strength. Soon you'll realize just how insignificant you are against my Zhu family's might." Su Yoren couldn't help but show a trace of anxiety. Though Chen Silin was her close friend, she also bore the weight of the Chen family's great undertaking. A powerful family like the Zhu family wasn't something she could easily offend. If things went badly, she might really kick Jiang Fan out. Soon after, shopkeeper Qin returned swiftly. However, he looked a bit oddly at Jiang Fan as he bowed to young Master Zhu and hesitated. The eldest lady has given her instructions. Zhu Jianshan, hands behind his back, smirked coldly. Did you hear that, Jiang Fan? Get lost. But to his surprise, shopkeeper Qin said, the eldest lady asked young Master Zhu to leave. Zhu Jianshan was stunned, pointing at himself in disbelief. Me, leave. You must be mistaken. No matter how much Chen Silin disliked him, he was still the real young master of the Zhu family. Between him and a good-for-nothing, Chen Silin sided with the good-for-nothing. However, even more unacceptable to Zhu Jianshan was shopkeeper Qin saying, also, the eldest lady said, the Zhu family is requested to vacate their seats for young Master Jiang and Miss Su to sit. What? Zhu Jianshan was shocked. How is that possible? Shopkeeper Qin, helpless, said, the eldest lady personally instructed, and I dare not disobey. Someone clear out the Zhu family seats. Several Treasure Pavilion staff immediately moved in and cleared out the Zhu family members from the front row. Zhang Yuxiu was baffled. Shopkeeper Qin, what's going on? Shopkeeper Qin, exasperated, explained the situation. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yuxiu glared at Jiang Fan angrily. So you're Jiang Fan, the one vying for a woman with my son, using your acquaintance with Chen Silin to oppress others. Fine, mark my words. Tomorrow is the day for the betrothal gifts. I will see with my own eyes what betrothal gifts you have to surpass my Zhu family. With that, she led the Zhu family members to the last row, looking humiliated. Jiang Fan simply shrugged, sitting in the front row's VIP seat under the envious eyes of the entire hall. Watching the whole scene unfold, Chen Silin couldn't help but shake her head. I really feel sorry for the Zhu family. Of all the people to target, you chose Jiang Fan? He's the very person whom you mother and son revere like a god. Chen Silin sighed softly to herself. Seeing that all the guests had gathered, she led 10 young women in red dresses, each carrying several trays covered with red cloth, to the stage. Her dazzling attire, beautiful face, and elegant demeanor immediately quieted the crowd. Thank you, distinguished guests, for attending today's auction. I apologize for the short notice and any inconvenience caused. As a gesture of apology, Silin has decided to offer 9 of the Chen family's prized possessions at bargain prices, to be sold to the highest bidder as usual. Jiang Fan couldn't help but smirk, using the fame of the Beauty Restore pill to sell more high-priced items while pretending it was an apology. One must admit, Chen Silin was very suited for business. Therefore, although the guests were eager to bid on the Beauty Restore pill, they patiently endured, captivated by her eloquent speech. He couldn't help but admire Chen Silin. Chen Silin also noticed Jiang Fan's gaze, feeling a wave of joy in her heart. Just as Jiang Fan was closely observing, a faint voice sounded in his ear. Are you two hiding something from me? Jiang Fan awkwardly withdrew his gaze and said, I was just admiring her commercial talent, I didn't mean anything else. Su Yoren sternly said, I didn't suspect you. I suspect Chen Silin, she seems to be overly fond of you. For Jiang Fan, she was willing to drive out the Zhu family. What exactly was Chen Silin, after that made her willing to go to such lengths for Jiang Fan? Jiang Fan, feeling guilty, said, I don't understand either. Su Yoren glanced at Jiang Fan and said, I also don't know what she likes about you. Don't be fooled by her approachable manner, her standards for choosing a future husband are quite high. I really didn't expect her to like you this much. Jiang Fan's lips twitched. Why hadn't he noticed before that she was so good at putting people down? She didn't even need to use a single swear word throughout. As Chen Silin finished her opening explanation, she decisively unveiled the red cloth from the first tray, revealing a spirit grass that could extend one's life. It's rarely seen on the market. Jiang Fan finally understood what wealthy ladies meant. Though it's only worth 10,000 taels, the wealthy ladies didn't care about the price exceeding its market value to show off their status, competing fiercely. Finally, it was sold at the high price of 15,000 taels. Chen Silin was overjoyed, once again casting a grateful look at Jiang Fan. If it weren't for the Beauty Restore pill presiding, gathering so many wealthy ladies for an auction would have been nearly impossible. A regular spirit grass could never have sold for such a sky-high price of 15,000 taels. Then, she successively displayed several more rare items. She was very clever, selling not only treasures needed by women, such as high-grade rouge, whitening pills, and so on. She also thoughtfully prepared treasures needed by elderly, men, and children, such as life-extending spirit grass, kidney-tonifying spirit pills, height-promoting spiritual liquid, and more. The wealthy ladies were also very willing to pay. The reason was simple. By silencing the members of their families, they could spend lavishly on the Beauty Restore pill without any objections from home. So by the time the 8th item was auctioned off, Chen Silin had already made a net profit of 50,000 taels of silver, equivalent to the Chen family's past year's income. This made her ecstatic. This auction not only increased the Chen family's prestige, but the real gold and silver in hand were astronomical numbers. But she also knew when to stop. She unveiled the covering of the 9th item, that bottle of Beauty Restore pill that all the wealthy ladies in the city scrambled for. With wisdom flashing in her eyes, Chen Silin said, "This bottle of Beauty Restore pill I won't give much of an introduction. I'll have my mother explain it to everyone." The transformed Liu Qimin, dressed in a light red long dress, slightly applied makeup, and wearing simple jewelry, appeared young again, looking like she was in her 20s. Her appearance stunned many wealthy ladies. "Is she Mrs. Chen? Impossible, we just saw her the other day, she wasn't like this." "She is Liu Qimin, you must be mistaken." "Oh my gosh, she looks more than 10 years younger, like she's 20 years younger," Zhang Yuxiu exclaimed. Even having witnessed Liu Qimin's transformation firsthand, she almost didn't recognize her. This made her even more envious, and she shouted, "No need for an introduction, 200,000 taels, I'll buy it." "What?" Starting at 200,000, Wang Yingfeng was shocked. She had only prepared 300,000, thinking that if she was lucky, she might be able to get it. Gritting her teeth, she decided to try 3. Before she could finish, a determined voice sounded. 400,000. It was the city lord's wife. She forcefully called out the price, looked at Liu Qimin, then looked at the Beauty Restore pill, her eyes burning. 500,000. An elderly lady from another prominent family called out without hesitation. 600,000. 700,000. 800,000. As the price continued to rise, Chen Silin's jaw dropped and she murmured, "This is crazy." She simply couldn't understand how a Beauty Restore pill could have such a huge allure. Wang Yingfeng's eyes were wide open, holding onto her pitiable 300,000 taels of silver, feeling utterly bitter. She completely underestimated the appeal of the Beauty Restore pill. 1 million, Zhang Yuxiu called out, voicing an earth-shattering price. Beside her, Zhu Jianshan was dumbfounded and urgently said, "Mother, are you mad?" 1 million, even the Zhu family could not bear such a cost. Spending so much for a Beauty Restore pill was an immense loss. "Shut up!" Zhang Yuxiu's eyes were filled with anger as she glanced around. "Anyone else?" 1 million was simply too much. Even the city lord's wife reconsidered and reluctantly gave up. Given her stance, it was clear what the other wealthy ladies would do. All of them clenched their teeth and painfully withdrew. 1.1 million. Young Master Jiang bids 1.1 million. At this moment, Jiang Fan, sitting in the front row, crossed his legs, nonchalantly raised his sign. After all, the resurrection pill was his. No matter how high the bid, it didn't matter. At worst, no one would compete and the pill would return to him. When Zhu Jianshan heard it was Jiang Fan who bid, he angrily shouted, "Do you even have the money to shout here?" Chen Silin furrowed her brows and spoke on Jiang Fan's behalf. "Whether the guest has money or not, we at the Treasure Pavilion will check with the bidders afterward. For those who make false bids, we at the Treasure Pavilion will not let them off." Over the years, no one dared to cause trouble at the Treasure Pavilion. The wealthy ladies nodded one after another. At such a high-level auction, causing trouble recklessly was akin to courting death. Chen Silin continued, 1.1 million once. 1.2 million. Zhang Yuxiu glared at Jiang Fan and gritted her teeth. 1.2 million was quite a burden for the Zhu family. Some properties would need to be sold to raise that much money. 1.3 million. Young Master Jiang bids 1.3 million. Chen Silin looked at Jiang Fan's raised sign and shouted excitedly. Zhang Yuxiu was furious. This guy was out to get her. She considered giving up to teach Jiang Fan a harsh lesson, but thinking of Liu Qimin's transformation, she hardened her resolve again. 1.4 million. If you bid again, I'll let you have it. Jiang Fan pursed his lips and stopped bidding. The money he had on him was exactly 1.3 million. Zhu Jianshan plopped down on the ground. His eyes darkened and he said, 1.4 million. He never dreamt that this pill would cost 1.4 million. This had already hurt the Zhu family's yuan energy. 1 million was already the limit. The extra 400,000 was nearly fatal, and these 400,000 were due to Jiang Fan's malicious bidding. Chen Silin was overjoyed and immediately completed the transaction with them. However, the auction hadn't ended yet. Chen Silin unveiled the red cloth of the last item, revealing a 3-foot-long piece of wood, as thick as an arm. It was charred black all over with traces of Thunderbolt's scorched marks. Many people recognized it. Thunderstruck wood, can this be considered a collectible? A wealthy lady questioned. Thunderstruck wood is the charred remains after a thunderbolt strike. It has some value, but not very high. It's not rare on the market. With some effort, you can still buy it from several material shops. Chen Silin said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Silin placed this last for a reason. My grandfather saw with his own eyes a giant tree that had gained sentience and was capturing passers-by, drawing their blood. A colorful heavenly thunderbolt struck down, burning it to leave only this piece. It's definitely different from ordinary thunderstruck wood, but my grandfather studied it for many years without finding anything. If any of you believe it has fate with you, you can buy it back and continue studying it." Upon hearing this, many wealthy ladies got up to leave, losing interest. In an instant, more than half of the people had left. Chen Silin smiled bitterly. It seemed that no one wanted this piece of thunderstruck wood. "My fiancé bids 10,000. At this moment, Su Yoren reluctantly shouted. Beside her, Jiang Fan held up a sign with 10,000 taels of silver, his eyes glinting as he stared at the thunderstruck wood. He could hardly believe it. The thunder-patterned spiritual wood, described in the Taiyan soul technique, actually existed. The noblewomen were stunned. There really are fools willing to buy it, and they started at 10,000 taels of silver. It's just ordinary thunderstruck wood. Too young, Chen Silin is a merchant. He makes up an unverifiable story, and they believe him. Zhu Jianshan, upon hearing it was Jiang Fan, immediately felt furious. He was about to raise the bid. Because of Jiang Fan, the Zhu family had overpaid by 400,000 taels, and he wanted Jiang Fan to pay the price. He noticed, however, that Jiang Fan was looking at him with a slight smile. Zhu Jianshan suddenly realized, that filthy scoundrel trying to trick the Zhu family's money again almost fell for it. He quickly closed his mouth, crossed his arms over his chest, and smirked at Jiang Fan's performance. Chen Silin was taken aback, not expecting Jiang Fan to bid. After inquiring 3 times with no one willing to compete for the worthless thunderstruck wood, it sold for 10,000 taels of silver. "Young Master Jiang, did you perhaps see something special in this piece of thunderstruck wood?" Chen Silin couldn't help but ask curiously. From a distance, Zhu Jianshan sneered, "Anything special? Just that no one got tricked this time and he became the fool. Ha ha ha." Wang Yingfeng also snorted in displeasure. "Embarrassing, spending 10,000 taels of silver on a piece of broken wood. Outrageous." Su Yining indifferently gazed at Jiang Fan. "Just a nouveau rich, does he really think he can afford to throw money around?" Su Yoren silently criticized as well. 10,000 taels for a piece of broken wood. She couldn't understand why Jiang Fan would buy it at such a high price. On stage, Jiang Fan accepted the thunderstruck wood and slightly nodded as he wrote, "It's indeed not ordinary wood. Though it appears insignificant, it hides something valuable." After speaking, he discreetly used powerful soul power to probe deep into the thunderstruck wood, forcing out tiny drops of emerald green liquid that were invisible to the naked eye. He collected them one by one with a jade bottle. A moment later, when no more emerald green droplets remained, the jade bottle was full, emitting a deep fragrance. Su Yining sniffed it and immediately stood up, exclaiming, "Plant essence, it's plant essence." Zhu Jianshan also recognized it and quickly came over, looking shocked. "It's indeed plant essence." Some experienced noblewomen were also filled with shock. Plant essence is said to be the accumulated essence of plants that have become spirits over the years. When a martial artist in the Qi cultivation realm consumes it, they can directly break through a realm. Even a cultivator in the foundation establishment realm can significantly enhance their cultivation with it. It's a divine object that's hard to find even for 1,000,000 taels outside, and he got it for just 10,000 taels. A single bottle is enough for 4 people to break through. These words made the noblewomen's eyes light up. "This young master, my Zhang family is willing to offer 400,000 taels of silver for just 1/3 of the plant essence." When reaching the 6th layer of Qi cultivation, without top-notch spirit roots, breaking through each level required astronomical resources. Spending just 400,000 taels to break through a level was an unbeatable bargain. Zhu Jianshan regretted deeply, feeling like slapping himself. Such a rare plant essence, and he missed it even when it was right in front of him. Gritting his teeth, he said, "Jiang Fan, give me this bottle and we will settle our grievances." Jiang Fan smirked and wrote, I actually prefer having grievances between us. You, Zhu Jianshan was furious, stomping his foot fiercely. Fine. Fine, you just wait. We'll see who triumphs tomorrow at the gift presentation. With that, he stormed off in anger. Facing the noblewomen's purchase requests, Jiang Fan politely declined, leaving them in disappointment. Jiang Fan, you got something valuable. Shouldn't you leave some for our Su family? Wang Yingfeng jealously pulled Su Yining over, righteously saying, You've been eating and drinking from the Su family these years. You should have a conscience, do you understand? I'm not asking for a lot, just 1/4 of that bottle of plant essence for our Su family. Upon hearing this, Chen Silin rolled her eyes. Even though she was an outsider, she knew how poorly the Su family had treated Jiang Fan over the years. They never treated him as a lifesaver. They even broke a previously promised marriage arrangement. And now they dare speak of conscience. Su Yoren was also irritated. Wang Yingfeng was too bullying. She frowned. This is Fan's own money, his own earned skill. Why should he give it to the Su family? Fan, don't listen to her. Su Yining, also embarrassed by Wang Yingfeng, murmured, Mother, why do we need his things? I'll find my way to enhance my own cultivation. Though she disliked Jiang Fan, she wouldn't simultaneously despise him and covet his benefits. That would be too shameless, but to everyone's surprise, Jiang Fan did give away 1/4 of the plant essence. He wrote meaningfully, Aunt Wang is right. The Su family has helped me over the past 10 years. A little plant essence is nothing significant. Chen Silin and Su Yoren stomped their feet in frustration. Was Jiang Fan too naive? Giving away the precious plant essence so easily. Evidently, Wang Yingfeng wanted it for Su Yining's consumption. Su Yining also didn't expect Jiang Fan to be willing to give it. She re-examined Jiang Fan, pondering hard. Apart from some lower aptitudes, he was indeed unassailable. Why did she start disliking him, and when? Wang Yingfeng secretly scorned, so what if he has 510,000 taels of silver? He's still at my mercy. I asked for part of the plant essence, and he obediently divided it like a good boy, haha. However, soon Wang Yingfeng's expression turned stiff. Jiang Fan did not hand the 1/4 plant essence to her. Instead, he gave it to Su Yoren, opening her small cherry mouth with one hand and pouring the plant essence into her mouth with the other. Cough, 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 cough. Fan, what are you doing? Unprepared, Su Yoren choked. Jiang Fan shrugged and wrote, Your aunt said so, I must repay the Su family. Giving this 1/4 of plant essence to the eldest young lady of the Su family is only fitting, right? All right, stop talking and sit down to cultivate. See if it works as rumored. Su Yoren had much to say, but the plant essence within her had already exploded with overwhelming spiritual energy, making her hastily sit cross-legged for cultivation. With the yellow-level high-grade mental method provided by Jiang Fan, in a blink, she broke through to the 4th layer of Qi Cultivation. However, it wasn't over, as her cultivation level was low and the medicine was potent. After a short period, she broke through another level, reaching the 5th layer of Qi Cultivation. Finally, with the last force of plant essence, she advanced to the 5th layer perfection of Qi Cultivation. With just a few days of quiet cultivation, she could break through to the 6th layer of Qi Cultivation. This scene left Su Yining both surprised and envious. Breaking through to the 6th layer of Qi Cultivation had taken her half a year. But her sister, just because of a bit of plant essence from Jiang Fan, had achieved it. This stark contrast complicated her feelings. She looked at Jiang Fan, biting her red lips, then turned and left. Wang Yingfeng, extremely angry, shouted, Jiang Fan, how dare you humiliate my daughter like this tomorrow? Tomorrow I'll make you pay. Jiang Fan shrugged, and before she left, he took out another 1/4 bottle and handed it to Chen Silin. This bottle is for you. Wang Yingfeng nearly blacked out. Rather give it to an outsider than to her daughter. She would remember this. Chen Silin, startled, said, This is too precious, I can't accept it. Jiang Fan silently smiled and placed it in her arms. Secretly, he smiled to himself. Who told them that the most valuable thing about the thunder-patterned spiritual wood is the plant essence? Its most precious aspect is the material itself. After witnessing the extraordinary effect of the plant essence, Chen Silin didn't dare to accept it. She hurriedly declined. I really can't accept this. Su Yoren saw her decline repeatedly and, annoyed, stepped forward, pulled open her collar, and stuffed the plant essence inside. Don't be polite, after all, you don't consider Fan an outsider. Her words had a double meaning, startling Chen Silin. She quickly explained, Yoren, listen to me, it's not what you think. The reason I'm polite to Jiang Fan is because, she stammered, unable to continue. Without Jiang Fan's permission, How could she dare reveal his identity as a soul master? Enough, you're stammering. What's there to explain? Su Yoren gave her a complicated look. We've known each other for so many years, don't I know what you're thinking? You like Jiang Fan, that's fine, but he's my fiancé, so keep it in check. I don't want our years of friendship to be ruined over a man. Her words hit the mark, making Chen Silin blush like a steamed crab, so nervous she could hardly speak. You really misunderstood, I really don't. She was about to cry. No matter how she tried to explain, she couldn't make it clear. Su Yoren poked her forehead. I told you, no need to deny it. We're leaving. She took Jiang Fan's arm and left the auction house with light steps. Some things, rather than burying them in their hearts and causing a rift between them, it's better to be straightforward and set the boundaries in advance. Given Chen Silin's character, now that Su Yoren had made it clear she didn't want Jiang Fan to be disturbed, she would know what to do in the future. Jiang Fan turned back to look at Chen Silin, who had a bitter smile on her face, and puzzled, he asked, Could it be that you really misunderstood? Su Yoren firmly said, No way, she likes you for sure. Well, but Jiang Fan's intuition told him there had to be some misunderstanding. When they got back home, Jiang Fan also took out a quarter of the plant essence. Sitting cross-legged, he immediately swallowed a bottle. The immense energy contained in the plant essence instantly filled his body, giving him a feeling of swelling. He immediately began to run and refine the pure energy into his own spiritual power. Not long after, his whole body trembled. As expected of the plant essence, I successfully broke through the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation. Jiang Fan looked delighted. Unfortunately, the plant essence only worked the first time it was consumed. Looking at the last quarter of the plant essence, Jiang Fan put it away. It was still midday. Jiang Fan remembered that the top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid for today hadn't been delivered to the Chen family yet. And tomorrow was the day for the betrothal gifts. He might not have time to deliver it then. Thinking about this, he decided to refine the top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid for the next few days all at once. This busy work lasted until late at night. Looking at the over 300 bottles of top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid in his arms, Jiang Fan, panting, brought his tired body to the Chen family. So many? Chen Silin was stunned. Jiang Fan said, I have things to do in the next few days, so I won't be coming. As for the money, give it to me after you sell this batch of top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. He left after speaking. Chen Silin was secretly grateful. She really couldn't come up with 3 million taels of silver. Luckily, Jiang Fan trusted her. Watching him leave, Chen Silin started counting the top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. Suddenly, she was covered by a shadow. Looking up, she was startled. Under the moonlight, a giant eagle circling down to land. On the eagle's back stood a man and a woman. They were Vice Pavilion Master Chen Zhengdao of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion and Liu Qimin, the daughter of the Sect Master of Green Cloud Sect. The two of them flew down swiftly. Liu Qimin hurried forward, sizing up Chen Silin. Are you the Chen family's miss? Chen Silin, full of vigilance, sternly asked. Who are you? How dare you trespass on the Chen family's important grounds? She vaguely felt that the cultivation of these two was extremely powerful, especially the man who gave her a feeling of suffocation. Chen Zhengdao, with his hands behind his back, said, I am Chen Zhengdao, Vice Pavilion Master of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, and this is the daughter of the Sect Master of Green Cloud Sect. Ah. Chen Silin was shocked, hurriedly bowing low. Junior Chen Silin greets the two seniors. Her heart beat wildly, and she felt anxious, having no idea why these two powerful figures would appear at the Chen family. Liu Qimin, in an urgent tone, asked, I heard you hosted an auction today. Is it true that the final auction item was the Beauty Restore pill? The news of the Beauty Restore pill had spread quickly. In just one day, it had spread to the surrounding cities. Upon hearing this, the two hurried to the Chen family to investigate. Because the Beauty Restore pill was a 3rd-grade spirit pill, only a 3-star Soul Master could successfully refine such a pill. The appearance of a 3-star Soul Master in the territory of the Green Cloud Sect was no small matter. Upon hearing this, Chen Silin actually felt relieved. Since cooperating with Jiang Fan, she had anticipated that forces would come to her asking about the Soul Master. So she had already prepared herself mentally. Reporting to Senior Liu, it is indeed true. Upon hearing this, Liu Qimin's stunning face showed a trace of amazement. Have you seen the alchemist? Chen Silin replied smoothly. He has recently been cooperating with the Chen family to refine top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. However, I don't know his appearance, age, name, or even gender. He covers his body with loose robes. So although I'm curious, I dare not ask." Hearing this answer, Liu Qimin's eyes filled with disappointment. She had hoped to find out his appearance and then locate him. If they could bring a 3-star soul master to the green Cloud Sect, their strength would undoubtedly increase dramatically in a short time. Chen Zhengdao, on the other hand, noticed the top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid on the table, picked up a bottle, opened it, and sniffed it. His eyes sparkled with rays of light. Its quality is much better than the top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid on the market. This absolutely cannot be refined by a 2-star soul master. This person is indeed a 3-star soul master. "Miss, when will he come again?" Chen Silin calmly pointed at the Qi Cultivation liquid on the table. "That senior said he had things to do these days, so he made a lot in advance. I dare not confirm when he will come next." Upon hearing this, Chen Zhengdao nodded slightly. "Thank you for informing us. This is for you." He casually handed her a powerful talisman, worth tens of thousands of taels of silver. Chen Silin gratefully accepted. "Thank you, senior. Thank you, senior. Qixian, let's go." Chen Zhengdao jumped on the giant eagle, and Liu Qixian, with an unwilling look, quickly followed him up. The giant eagle let out a shrill cry and soared up into the sky, disappearing from sight. But it actually hadn't flown far away. Instead, it hid within a dark cloud. "Uncle Chen, are we just going to let it go like this? That's a 3-star soul master. The pavilion master of Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion seems to be only a 3-star soul master, right? For such a figure, even if we don't bring him under our wing, we should at least investigate his identity clearly. How can we just leave like this?" Liu Qimin anxiously said. Chen Zhengdao, with his hands behind his back, looked down at Chen Silin's every move, his eyes slightly narrowed. "Who said we're leaving? Aren't we searching for him right now?" Liu Qimin was stunned. "Staying here. Do you expect that soul master to come out by himself?" Chen Zhengdao revealed a profound smile. "Didn't you notice the little girl from the Chen family? Her answers flowed too smoothly." Liu Qimin recalled and also sensed something was off. Indeed, it was very smooth. It seemed like she prepared the answers in advance. Chen Zhengdao nodded. "I suspect she is deliberately covering for this 3-star soul master. To find that soul master, we just need to follow her, see who she comes into contact with in the next few days, and it will become clear." Chen Silin unconcernedly took all the Qi Cultivation liquid back to her room. A calm face emerged with lingering fear. Luckily, Jiang Fan left early, otherwise it would have been troublesome. She patted her chest, her heart pounding wildly. "These two people, are they enemies or friends of Jiang Fan? I can't confirm it and absolutely can't let them find Jiang Fan." Slightly biting her finger, she forced herself to calm down. "They definitely haven't left yet, most likely monitoring me in secret. If I contact Jiang Fan now, they will definitely discover him. In that case, I can't go to the day of Jiang Fan's marriage proposal tomorrow." Sigh. The next day, it was just dawn. The Su family members got up early, because today was the day of Jiang Fan's marriage proposal. It was said that the Zhu family might also come. At that time, both sides would compete openly, and whoever had fewer betrothal gifts would lose face. The Su family members were curious about how many betrothal gifts Jiang Fan could provide, and whether he could finally win Su Yoren over. "Finish the work quickly so we can also have a look and see who our new son-in-law is." Is there even a need to say? Of course, it's young Master Zhu. He is a disciple of the Green Cloud Sect, and the Zhu family is one of the most prestigious families. Not necessarily. I heard yesterday that Jiang Fan only spent 10,000 taels of silver to get several bottles of plant essence, each worth hundreds of thousands. Jiang Fan's betrothal gifts will definitely not be light. Who wouldn't be jealous of the eldest lady, who, though not favored by the master, marries far more grandly than any other lady? Do you think the second lady regrets it? After all, Jiang Fan originally wanted to marry her. At this moment, Su Yining emerged from the training ground, hearing the maids gossiping. Her face immediately turned cold, and she scolded, "You all have no work to do." The maids scattered, but her mood remained unsettled for a long time. Gripping her sword hilt tightly, Su Yining clenched her teeth slightly. "Will I regret it? What a joke. No matter how good or valuable Jiang Fan's betrothal gifts are, I don't care. I don't care." Fuming, she passed by Aunt Wang's room and heard the noise inside. "Su Zhengyan, it's all your fault. Why are you so useless? Why can't you make more money? The beauty restore pill is right in front of me, but I can't afford to buy it. I heard Zhang Yuxiu bought it back, and after taking it, became 20 years younger. She even looks like his sister next to her son now. Why am I so miserable, delayed by your Su family? Su Yining sighed gently, still arguing overnight. Since returning from the auction house, Wang Yingfeng had been relentless. After learning about Zhang Yuxiu's transformation, she became even more aggressive, quarreling incessantly with Su Zhengyan. Father really has it tough. When I marry someone noble in the future, I'll definitely ask him to get a beauty restore pill to compensate for mother. Suddenly, the sound of firecrackers erupted. Su Yining smiled slightly. Is the Zhu family's betrothal procession here? Although she knew clearly that Zhu Jianshan had nearly violated her sister. Marrying him was like a sheep entering a tiger's den. But she preferred her sister not marry Jiang Fan. Because if her sister married Jiang Fan and didn't live well, so be it. If she lived happily, wouldn't that mean Su Yining had been short-sighted for giving up Jiang Fan? Hope young Master Zhu wins, Su Yining whispered, in Jiang Fan's room. Su Yoren had come early and was crying silently in Jiang Fan's arms. Fan, can we really be together? Although she initially felt wrong to marry in place of her sister, after spending some time together, she discovered she already liked this childhood friend who had pretended to be mute for many years. She didn't want to marry anyone else besides Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan gently patted her back and said, "Silly girl, have I ever broken any of my promises to you? I promised to marry you and I will definitely marry you. No one can stop me." Easy to say, but what about reality? Su Yoren's brows remained furrowed. After the last rush, the Zhu family must have made more thorough preparations this time. Moreover, in the past few days, Jiang Fan had completely offended Wang Yingfeng, who naturally would support the Zhu family more. Fan, why don't you give some plant essence to Aunt Wang to calm her down? Otherwise, I'm worried she will make things extremely difficult for you. Jiang Fan shook his head. Haven't you heard the story of Mr. Dongguo and the wolf? You can't satisfy a wolf. Give it all the meat it wants, and it will still want to eat the meat off your bones. Wang Yingfeng is the same. Will she be satisfied with plant spirit? No, she will want my 510,000 taels of silver, want you and me to obey her every word, want you to marry into the Zhu family to gain more benefits. Upon hearing this, Su Yoren knew it was true. But if this wasn't done, when Wang Yingfeng lost her temper later, not even Su Zhengyan could stop her. Don't worry, the betrothal gifts I prepared will satisfy Wang Yingfeng. Even if I slapped her, she would still grit her teeth and say she was satisfied. Ah, Su Yoren looked surprised. What kind of betrothal gifts were that exaggerated? Jiang Fan didn't seem to be joking, which made her even more curious. The sound of drums played, and Su Yoren's body trembled, holding Jiang Fan even tighter as if about to lose him. Jiang Fan teased, "Don't worry, after the betrothal gifts are given, you can hug me however you want." Su Yoren's face flushed with both embarrassment and anger. Is this the time to joke around? After cuddling in his arms for a long time, Su Yoren took a deep breath and with difficulty followed Jiang Fan to the Su family's main hall. At this time, Su Zhengyan, Wang Yingfeng, the Su family members, and Lu Zheng were already there. Aside from Su Zhengyan sincerely hoping Jiang Fan would win, the others either watched with glee or had no expectations. Lu Zheng seized the opportunity to mock openly in front of the whole family. Jiang Fan, don't feel any pressure, you won't win anyway. Originally, Jiang Fan didn't want to respond. But Lu Zheng kept going, sneering, the woman I can't have, you won't get either, right? If you ask me, you should admit defeat honestly to save face. Otherwise, the Zhu family's betrothal gifts will make you ashamed. Shut up, a voice of disdain came. It was the usually gentle Su Yoren who scolded Lu Zheng, dissatisfied. Just because you are useless, don't think Fan is like you. Fan is 100 times better than you. No man wants to be compared, especially in front of the woman he likes. Lu Zheng, embarrassed and angry, said, "How is Jiang Fan better than me?" He stopped mid-sentence. Recently, in front of Deputy Pavilion Master Chen, he was easily crushed by Jiang Fan like fighting off a dog. So Lu Zheng changed his tune. What has he given you to make you defend him so much? Su Yoren couldn't bear it anymore. She stood up and slapped Lu Zheng. Lu Zheng, angered, said, all right, a woman dares to hit me. Then don't blame me for being rude." If Su Yining struck, he could only stand still and take the hit, since she was at the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation. But Su Yoren, being only at the 2nd layer, dared to lay hands on him. Fine, let him teach Wang Yingfeng's long-held dislike for Su Yoren a lesson. So he angrily threw a punch to counter. Smack! But as soon as they collided, Lu Zheng was shocked to find his spiritual power inferior to Su Yoren's. Her slap deflected his hand and directly slapped his face, knocking him to the ground. Just now, the Su family members who had been laughing with Lu Zheng now looked at Su Yoren as if seeing a ghost, shocked. Su Yoren coldly retracted her hand and stared at Lu Zheng in disgust. Now do you know what Fan has given me? The members of the Su family were utterly shocked. Is she really Su Yoren? Am I not mistaken? Wasn't she just at the second layer of Qi Cultivation? When did she become a fifth layer expert who can defeat Lu Zheng? These must be what Jiang Fan gave her. No wonder she is so devoted to Jiang Fan. It turns out Jiang Fan secretly gave her so many benefits. If I were Su Yoren, I would also be willing to marry Jiang Fan. Su Yoren returned to Jiang Fan's side and said softly, "Did I do everything right?" Jiang Fan patted her head and wrote, "Why bother with a defeated dog?" Su Yoren replied, "When flies buzz around, just take the fly swatter and swat a few times to quiet them down." Lu Zheng, lying on the ground, clutching his burning face, was filled with hatred. "Jiang Fan, just you wait." Jiang Fan looked over and wrote, "What do you intend to do to me, Lu, the prodigy with a 9-grade spiritual root?" Hitting where it hurts most. The misunderstanding about the 9-grade spiritual root was Lu Zheng's utmost humiliation. Lu Zheng was so angry that his eyes nearly bulged out of his head, his chest heaved violently, and his vision darkened. Bang! "Jiang Fan, do you even see me?" Wang Yingfeng slammed the table, rebuking angrily. She could no longer tolerate Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan earnestly wrote a sentence, "Are you worthy?" Just these 3 words. The disdain was evident on the paper. The Su family members were all terrified. Was he actually openly insulting Wang Yingfeng? Su Yoren was so scared that her heart nearly leaped out. She hastily pressed down his note and whispered, "Are you crazy?" At this moment, why provoke her? Su Yining's eyes turned cold, glaring fiercely at Jiang Fan. This was already the second time Jiang Fan showed disrespect to her mother. "Jiang Fan, if you become the son-in-law of our Su family today, we can let this matter go, considering you as one of us. Apologize to my mother by kowtowing, and this will be over. If you don't, I will surely settle this with you to the death." Jiang Fan also looked at Su Yining and unceremoniously wrote, "Why should I risk my life for a woman like your mother, both malicious and foolish? Is she worthy?" What? Jiang Fan was still insulting Wang Yingfeng. The Su family members were left in shock and awe. "Jiang Fan has said what we've wanted to but dared not to say. But he's too impulsive. He's still too young to understand patience." Su Zhengyan felt a headache coming on. He quickly said, "Jiang Fan, stop talking nonsense." He gave Jiang Fan a look, signaling him to endure for now. The marriage between Jiang Fan and Su Yoren was in Wang Yingfeng's hands. If Wang Yingfeng got too angry, this marriage would certainly be called off. But it was too late to remind him now. Wang Yingfeng, boiling with rage, grabbed a teacup and smashed it to pieces on the ground. The boiling tea splattered onto the surrounding clan members, eliciting cries of pain. "Jiang Fan!" Wang Yingfeng gnashed her teeth, her body shaking as she screamed, "If I let the 2 of you marry today, I will write my name backwards." The entire hall fell silent. No one had ever seen Wang Yingfeng so furious. They looked at Jiang Fan, all showing expressions of pity. Su Yoren also turned pale. There was no need to compare the betrothal gifts anymore. The Zhu family would definitely win. Wang Yingfeng had already sworn publicly to write her name backwards. She couldn't think of any reason that would make Wang Yingfeng change her mind now. Only Jiang Fan remained unconcerned, slowly writing, "Don't worry, you will." Su Zhengyan wondered if Jiang Fan was insane. He had angered her to the point of making an oath. How could she possibly take back her words and make herself a laughing stock? "Dear in-law, why are you so angry?" Zhang Yuxiu, leading Zhu Jianshan, entered the hall with a smile. Their servants carried numerous treasure boxes, filled with dazzling jewels. Much more than last time. Wang Yingfeng almost didn't recognize Zhang Yuxiu. She was dressed in a purple robe, her skin smooth and rosy, her hair jet black, and standing next to Zhu Jianshan, she didn't look much older. Was this the effect of the Beauty Restore pill? She had thought it was exaggerated hearsay. Now she saw Zhang Yuxiu's transformation was even more remarkable than rumors. Her heart was filled with overwhelming jealousy. One pill could make a woman 20 years younger. To a woman, it was more enticing than any divine pill that could enhance strength. Unfortunately, there was only one. She greeted with a complex expression, "Just some small matters, small matters." Zhang Yuxiu, not hiding her pride, said cheerfully, "Dear in-law, cheer up. Today is a joyous day for your Su family. Shen, come and pay respects to your future mother-in-law." Zhu Jianshan quickly smiled and said politely, "Your son-in-law Zhu Jianshan greets you." Wang Yingfeng's mood still couldn't lift, and she forced a smile. "Please, sit, everyone. Sit." Returning to her seat, Wang Yingfeng's mind was elsewhere. especially when she noticed the Su family members all staring at the newly transformed, radiant Zhang Yuxiu. Her mood worsened. Su Zhengyan, with a calm expression, asked, "Mrs. Zhu, what betrothal gifts did you bring today?" Looking at the dazzling treasures, he was worried for Jiang Fan. Zhu Jianshan stepped forward and said, "Allow me to introduce. Gold, silver, and jewels worth 1,000,000 taels. SSS." The Su family members gasped in shock. The previously disheartened Wang Yingfeng suddenly became spirited. 1,000,000 taels was astronomical. If she had this amount of silver earlier, the Beauty Restore pill would have been hers yesterday. Zhu Jianshan, satisfied with their reactions, continued, 20 bottles of mid-grade Qi Cultivation liquid worth 200,000 taels. A yellow-level lower technique, worth 300,000 taels. A lower-grade magic artifact worth 500,000 taels. At the mention of the magic artifact, Su Yining couldn't remain seated and exclaimed, "A magic artifact?" Unlike ordinary weapons, magic artifacts contained spiritual power. Using one could greatly amplify the power of swordsmanship. Such high-grade items could only be found in the green Cloud Sect, and they were very valuable, rewards only given to disciples with significant accomplishments. She couldn't help but envy Su Yoren, who received such an abundant dowry. Wang Yingfeng's face lit up with joy. Altogether, it was worth 2,000,000 taels. "Good son-in-law, our Yoren is truly fortunate to have you." Wang Yingfeng couldn't stop smiling. Zhu Jianshan also felt assured. The deal was done. He turned to look at Jiang Fan, who still looked calm, and taunted, "Jiang Fan, weren't you quite arrogant at the auction house yesterday? Now, can you show the same arrogance with your betrothal gifts today? Let's see if your gifts match your arrogance." Jiang Fan slowly opened his eyes. He calmly wrote a line, "Is this all you have?" The entire Su family stared at these four characters in astonishment. What does it mean? Do they think the Zhu family's dowry is too little? A dowry worth 2,000,000. This is the first time since the founding of Lonely Boat City. Does Jiang Fan look down on such a large dowry? In comparison, Su Yoren revealed a trace of desolation. This is a 2,000,000 dowry. How could Jiang Fan compete? Even if yesterday's plant essence was sold, it would barely be over 100 taels. Adding to Jiang Fan's existing 510,000 taels, it still wouldn't come close to 2,000,000. Zhu Jianshan smirked. "That bottle of plant essence, if you hadn't used it, might barely qualify you to compete with me. But now you have nothing, so what will you use to compete with me?" Lu Zheng finally found his chance for revenge. He sneered, "Young Master Zhu, this guy might be mute, but his stubbornness is unmatched. Even with a swollen face, his mouth won't yield. Only when Su Yoren is in your arms will he be writhing in pain." Wang Yingfeng's good mood was immediately shattered by Jiang Fan's single remark. "You even look down on a dowry of 2,000,000. Young Master Jiang, how much can you offer?" Su Zhengyan sighed heavily. There was no need to compare further. Even with the help of a fortune deity, Jiang Fan couldn't amass such a huge sum of silver. Continuing the comparison would only embarrass Jiang Fan further. "All right then, since young Master Zhu has proposed the dowry, the marriage is settled. There's no need for Jiang Fan to present his." Bang, however, Wang Yingfeng slammed the table and snorted, "Stop shielding this useless person. Did you forget how he was jumping around just now? Today, I want to see exactly what he's capable of." Zhu Jianshan also cupped his hands and said, "Father-in-law, without a comparison, how can we know how much the Zhu family values Yoren? We can't let outsiders think that the Zhu family bullies others with our power, can we? Since Jiang Fan is competing with me for a woman, we must distinguish who is superior clearly and distinctly." Clap, clap. Just as Su Zhengyan was about to speak, Jiang Fan clapped his hands. He picked up his pen and wrote, "I completely agree with what young Master Zhu said. Without comparison, where does the difference come from?" Then he took out stack after stack of silver notes from his chest. Without exception, they were all in denominations of 10,000 taels. Differing from the previous 510,000 taels, this time, the silver notes were so many that they took one's breath away. Pure white like paper piled together casually. "Count them!" Jiang Fan's note broke the dead silence in the hall. Su Zhengyan was the first to react, quickly gathering up the countless silver notes. Though not yet counted, the amount clearly exceeded 2,000,000. His hands trembled as he counted them one by one. Finding the task overwhelming, he eventually had to ask for help. "Yining, what are you standing there for? Quickly help count?" Su Yining walked over dazedly and started helping to count. A blank slate in her mind. Shortly after, she finished counting and said in a tone even she found uncertain, a total of 2.7 million taels. What did this mean? It was 700,000 taels more than the Zhu family's dowry, which had cost them everything. The entire room fell silent. Pairs of astonished eyes stared at the 2.7 million taels of silver. Su Yining looked at Jiang Fan, calm and composed, then at Su Yoren, thrilled beyond measure. Her emotions churned. Lu Zheng was dumbfounded, wanting to say something harsh, but unable to form a sentence against such a colossal dowry. Zhu Jianshan also stood frozen, unable to comprehend where Jiang Fan had acquired so much silver. Just 2 days ago, he only had 510,000 taels. Little did they know, Jiang Fan previously had 1.3 million taels. After selling a beauty restore pill yesterday, he got another 1.4 million from the Zhu family, accumulating to a total of 2.7 million taels. Jiang Fan looked at Zhu Jianshan, half smiling. "Young Master Zhu, your Zhu family can continue to add more. I'll wait for you." The Zhu family had no more wealth to add. Buying a beauty restore pill yesterday cost 1.4 million, causing them to sell many assets. This 2 million dowry was all they could scrape together. If they added another 700,000, the Zhu family truly wouldn't have it. Zhu Jianshan gritted his teeth until they creaked, his fists clenched tightly, glaring at Jiang Fan with hatred. Jiang Fan calmly wrote out, "Does glaring so intensely help? If you can still add to the dowry, then do so. If you have no money, then take your dowry and get as far away as you can." Humiliation. A tremendous humiliation. In Zhu Jianshan's life had he ever been so insulted. "Jiang Fan, how dare you go too far?" Zhu Jianshan shouted. Jiang Fan slowly stood, coldly writing several lines. "Unable to seize another's wife, yet slandering others for bullying you. Your Zhu family has it inscribed shamelessness upon your faces. You!" Zhu Jianshan was furious. He wished to go up and beat Jiang Fan half to death. But in this public setting, and with Su Zhengyan protecting Jiang Fan, he could do nothing. Zhang Yuxiu was also infuriated. She had thought the Zhu family had the upper hand, but they were easily trampled by a mere houseguest. Unable to overshadow them financially, she had nothing to say. She coldly said, "Shen, we are leaving." However, just when everyone thought the matter was settled, Wang Yingfeng stared at Jiang Fan with hatred, shouting, "Jiang, what are you so smug about? Who told you that you have won?" Huh. Members of the Su family, puzzled, looked over. Was there still a need to compare? 2.7 million taels of ready cash against a dowry discounted to 2 million. Even a fool could see whose dowry was more, right? Su Zhengyan was dumbfounded, pulling Wang Yingfeng, saying, "Don't be unreasonable. Since Fan's dowry is more, Fan has won." Wang Yingfeng pushed him away, roaring, "Get lost. I will make the decisions about this marriage." Su Zhengyan's face turned blue and white. The dignified authority of the family head was shattered by her roar. Wang Yingfeng glared at Jiang Fan with resentment. "Don't say I am being unreasonable. You remember my words, right?" Jiang Fan, seemingly anticipating this, took out a previously prepared note. "A dowry that will satisfy you." Wang Yingfeng was slightly startled. Jiang Fan had foreseen she would dwell on this issue, but it didn't matter. Even if the sky fell today, she wouldn't agree to this marriage. "Good," Wang Yingfeng snorted. "Although your dowry is more, I prefer young Master Zhu's dowry more. This doesn't go against the promise, does it?" "What?" Everyone's expressions changed. Several family members immediately advised, "Madam, you're being foolish. Jiang Fan's is 2.7 million taels. Not only that, Jiang Fan is one of us. We don't need to return his dowry. What he gives, it's ours. But the Zhu family's dowry must be paired with a dowry to be returned together. No family would keep the bride price. On the contrary, it would be sent back along with a dowry. And Jiang Fan's 2.7 million taels could greatly develop Su Mansion, enhancing the family's strength." "Everyone shut up," Wang Yingfeng shouted. "I don't care about the Su family. I just want to break up Jiang Fan and Su Yoren. I want them to never be together." Then she pointed her finger at Jiang Fan, saying, "I'm not satisfied with your dowry. So get out of Su Mansion. Now." Immediately, without delay, Jiang Fan smiled without saying anything. He pushed aside the pile of silver notes in front of him and took out another pre-written note. "I have one more item in my dowry. You will be satisfied." "Ha ha ha." Wang Yingfeng laughed aloud. "Jiang Fan, oh Jiang Fan, what do you take me for? We've come to this point and you think I will slap my own face. Even if you present an immortal pill today, you must leave." Jiang Fan chuckled, holding a note in his left hand. "I don't have an immortal pill, but I do have this pill." With his right hand, he slowly took out a jade bottle from his chest. Inside was nothing else but a beauty restore pill. This pill appeared, the entire Su family exploded like a pot boiling over. Beauty restore pill, it's the beauty restore pill. Oh my god, it's the second beauty restore pill. Jiang Fan's true wedding dowry is actually a genuine beauty restore pill. What? Zhu Jianshan gasped. The smile on his face hadn't even fully formed before it fell apart, replaced by overwhelming shock. He had personally witnessed how attractive a single beauty restore pill was. Last time, many wealthy women were ill-prepared and deeply regretted not bidding afterwards. If another one appeared, its value would far exceed 1.4 million. Su Yining covered her mouth in disbelief. She had fantasized about marrying a powerful true love to get such a wedding dowry. Jiang Fan effortlessly produced one. Su Zhengyan was equally stunned after a brief pause. This pill, Jiang Fan actually had one. At this moment, no one questioned where the beauty restore pill came from. All their attention was on the pill and Wang Yingfeng. Yesterday, Wang Yingfeng had caused chaos in the entire Su family because she couldn't get the beauty restore pill. Now, with a genuine beauty restore pill in front of her, it was uncertain what she would do. Would she continue to behave unreasonably and break Jiang Fan and Su Yoran apart? Or would she treat her previous words like air? Wang Yingfeng was also stunned, looking at the beauty restore pill with eyes full of disbelief. This was the beauty restore pill she had dreamed of. But looking at Jiang Fan's faint smile, she remembered her resolute words and was momentarily indecisive. Jiang Fan smiled slightly and said, "Since you don't want it, I'll take it to auction." Saying this, he tucked the beauty restore pill into his chest. "Wait!" Wang Yingfeng panicked, especially when she saw Zhang Yuxiu's youthful face. She couldn't resist the temptation. Let it be a slap in the face. She would turn hostile later. "Fine, you win, your dowry, I am satisfied." With these words, the entire venue felt like they were dreaming. Jiang Fan had humiliated Wang Yingfeng so much. The vengeful Wang Yingfeng actually agreed to the marriage contract, just as Jiang Fan said. Wang Yingfeng finished speaking, feeling her face burn, and said fiercely, "Can you give it to me now?" Jiang Fan produced a pre-prepared contract and placed it before her, along with a note. "Your verbal promise is as good as air. Better to sign a contract." Once again humiliated, Wang Yingfeng was furious. She had planned to go back on her word later, but Jiang Fan saw through her and mocked her. But for the beauty restore pill, she could only suppress her anger and sign the contract. With the contract signed, Jiang Fan and Su Yoran's marriage was officially valid. Even if she tried to stop it afterward, the signed contract meant she had no right to interfere. "Now can you give it to me?" Wang Yingfeng stared at the beauty restore pill, her eyes burning with desire. Su Zhengyan finally relaxed, showing a relieved smile. Seeing Wang Yingfeng's eagerness, he smiled and said, "Fan, give it to her. Your mother-in-law can't wait to become young again." Jiang Fan nodded and wrote, "Of course, since it's a dowry to your family. How to dispose of it is up to you. However, let me say this first, before handing over this beauty restore pill, please verify it carefully. Don't get it and then claim it's fake." Su Zhengyan wanted to say who would be so low, but looking at Wang Yingfeng, he thought Jiang Fan's concern wasn't entirely misplaced. "All right, I'll verify it." He stepped forward, watching as Jiang Fan opened the bottle cap. A rich fragrance of the pill hit them. "Father-in-law, please look closely," Jiang Fan wrote and directed the bottle mouth towards him. Su Zhengyan nodded and bent down to inspect it carefully. Suddenly, from Jiang Fan's palm, a force suddenly emitted, causing the beauty restore pill to be ejected from the jade bottle. It landed right in Su Zhengyan's mouth and rolled into his throat. Cough, cough, cough. Su Zhengyan choked and coughed several times, bewildered. "Did I eat the beauty restore pill?" The unexpected scene made the entire Su family explode. Wang Yingfeng couldn't believe it and screamed, "My beauty restore pill! Spit it out, you wretch, spit it out now!" Su Zhengyan also panicked, trying to spit it back out. But the beauty restore pill dissolved quickly once ingested, melting into liquid and permeating his body. Immediately after, in a series of exclamations, the aged Su Zhengyan underwent an unbelievable transformation. His gray hair visibly turned black. The wrinkles on his face smoothed out rapidly and spots disappeared quickly. Even his slightly stooped posture became upright again. In the blink of an eye, he transformed from a middle-aged man to a youth in his early 30s. With a change to younger, more fashionable clothes, he would look barely over 20. This was the effect of the top-grade Beauty Restore pill, twice as effective as the low-grade one, making him 20 years younger. I became young." Su Zhengyan looked at his new appearance in disbelief, as if dreaming. It was like seeing himself 30 years ago when he first took charge of the Su family, full of vigor. Watching the dramatic change in her husband, the middle-aged Wang Yingfeng screamed from the bottom of her heart. "That's mine! It's my beauty restore pill!" Su Zhengyan snapped out of it, looking lost. "Dear, I don't know what happened. I didn't eat it on purpose." Wang Yingfeng understood, her eyes filled with immense hatred as she raged at Jiang Fan. "It's you! You deliberately gave it to Su Zhengyan, didn't you? Didn't you?" Jiang Fan quietly looked at her and wrote without hesitation. "That's right. Compared to your pampered life, Uncle Su needed this beauty restore pill more." He never intended to give the precious beauty restore pill to Wang Yingfeng. His plan was to get the contract signed and then have Su Zhengyan take the beauty restore pill. Wang Yingfeng went berserk. "You tricked me." Jiang Fan shook his head and wrote, "This is the dowry, it's for your family, anyone can take it." Wang Yingfeng lost her mind, shouting, "Beat him to death, beat him to death!" But the Su family was indifferent. The clan members still had a sense of justice. They also believed that the beauty restore pill suited the hardworking Su Zhengyan better. Finding no one would obey her, Wang Yingfeng got even angrier, roaring, "Su Yining, where are you? Can't you see your mother was deceived? Kill Jiang Fan immediately, hurry up." Su Yining stood still and did not move. She glanced at Jiang Fan with some resentment and said, "Mother, why don't I take you to rest?" After all, Jiang Fan gave the beauty restore pill to her father. Seeing her hardworking father become so young made her genuinely happy and excited. So she didn't think Jiang Fan did anything wrong. Only her mother couldn't accept it right away. "Even you betrayed me. I don't want to live anymore." Wang Yingfeng sat on the ground, kicking and cursing loudly. She was acting like a shrew. Su Zhengyan and Su Yining looked embarrassed, helpless in dealing with their kin. The clan members shook their heads. Su Yoren then took Jiang Fan's arm and said, "Everyone disperse." The matter is over, however. At this moment, a paper crane magically flew over, landing in Zhu Jianshan's hand. "Oh, a message from the sect." He quickly opened it and read the contents, his face growing serious. Then he grinned savagely. "Who told you it was over? Su family, you are facing a catastrophe." The words "family disgrace" brought the jubilant members of the Su family to a standstill. Su Zhengyan's face darkened as he said, "Young Master Zhu, please watch your words. Our Su family has always adhered to the rules. How could there be a family disgrace?" However, Zhu Jianshan laughed heartily, his gaze sweeping over the Su family members and finally fixating on Lu Zheng. "Why don't you ask Lu Zheng whether he sold Lonely Boat City's patrol map to the Blood Bat Palace?" What? The Su family members were stunned. Blood Bat Palace, that evil force lurking within the Green Cloud Sect's territory. The Green Cloud Sect had tried multiple times to eradicate it without success and had issued a strict order forbidding any dealings with the Blood Bat Palace. Any such interaction would be deemed collaboration with the Blood Bat Palace. If violated, the punishment would be the extermination of the family. Su Zhengyan was terrified. He yanked Lu Zheng from the crowd, yelling, "Tell him, did you collude with the Blood Bat Palace?" At that moment, Jiang Fan and Su Yoren exchanged a glance, both feeling a pang of anxiety. The other day, Su Yoren had encountered 3 Blood Bat Palace members on the mountain. They had said that Lu Zheng owed them money. Clearly, Lu Zheng had connections with the Blood Bat Palace. Staring at the ground, Lu Zheng, who had previously been confident, now broke out in a cold sweat, shaking his head vigorously. No, it's a rumor." Zhu Jianshan smirked coldly. People from the Green Cloud Sect raided a branch of the Blood Bat Palace and captured several members. They exposed you and even produced the patrol map you gave them. With both circumstantial and material evidence, denying it is useless. Wang Yingfeng got up from the ground to defend her nephew. "That's impossible. My nephew will have a promising future. How could he do such a thing?" Zhu Jianshan mocked. "Do you think the people from the Green Cloud Sect would deliberately frame an insignificant person?" "Lu Zheng, will you confess on your own or should I use torture?" Seeing his actions exposed, Lu Zheng's face turned deathly pale. He rushed to kneel before Wang Yingfeng, frantically explaining, "Aunt, I was forced to. I accidentally owed them money and they said if I didn't repay it, they'd kill me. That's why I followed their orders and stole the patrol map for them. Please save me." "Save me?" the Su family members gasped. So it was true. Su Zhengyan's vision went black and he almost collapsed. Fortunately, Su Yoren stepped forward to support him. "Lu Zheng, you beast. How dare you collude with the Blood Bat Palace and sell out Lonely Boat City's patrol map?" The patrol map was the core secret of the officers' and soldiers' patrol defense in Lonely Boat City. If the Blood Bat Palace obtained it, infiltrating Lonely Boat City would be a breeze for them. Even Wang Yingfeng was terrified. Though she was a woman, she knew what the patrol map represented. What Lu Zheng committed was no mere mistake, but a heinous crime. She trembled and pushed Lu Zheng away, silently retreating, as if treating him like a plague. How could she dare to say another word in his defense? Zhu Jianshan smirked sinisterly. The Green Cloud Sect has left this matter for me to handle. In my view, this can be either a big issue or a minor one. If I show mercy, I can act as if nothing happened. But if I investigate thoroughly, none of you Su family members will escape. He took a step forward, raised his hand to lift Su Yoren's chin, and teased, "You know what I want, don't you? Tonight, Su Yoren must serve me well. The better she serves, the happier I am, and then I might spare your Su family. Otherwise," bang, suddenly. A teacup was thrown, hitting Zhu Jianshan's arm. Zhu Jianshan retracted his hand in pain, angrily glaring at Jiang Fan, who had thrown it. He spitefully said, "I'll tell you right now, you won't escape either," Jiang Fan said calmly. "Who gave you the power to exterminate the entire Su family?" "Lu Zheng is a Lu by name. What does it have to do with the Su family?" This snapped the Su family members out of their shock. Su Yining also suddenly woke up, and with her sword raised, she shouted, "Zhu Jianshan, if you want to destroy the Su family, do you plan to include me? Don't forget that I'm the designated true disciple of the Green Cloud Sect, and my future status will be much higher than yours." Today, if Zhu Jianshan dared to abuse his power to destroy the Su family, one day Su Yining would surely flatten the Zhu family. Su Zhengyan also regained his senses and said quickly, "Yes, yes. Lu Zheng colluded with the Blood Bat Palace. Go after him, but why implicate the Su family?" The barrage of questions left Zhu Jianshan in an awkward position. He gritted his teeth and argued stubbornly, "Lu Zheng was raised in your Su family. He committed the crime, so your Su family can't evade responsibility." Jiang Fan wrote with a flourish. "If that's your argument, then wouldn't the Zhu family also plot rebellion by attempting to marry into the Su family? Let's just wipe them out together." Everyone's eyes brightened. It had to be admitted that although Jiang Fan was mute, he always hit the mark with his words. Su Zhengyan promptly announced, "From now on, Lu Zheng is expelled from the Su family. He will have no further affiliation with us." "No, Aunt, please save me. Give me another chance." Lu Zheng's face turned ashen as he wept and pleaded. Once he was expelled, execution awaited him. Wang Yingfeng, though unwilling, could not help but feel pity for her nephew. She addressed Su Zhengyan, "Husband, why not marry Yoren to young Master Zhu? Wouldn't that be a win-win solution?" Slap. In response, she received a resounding slap. Su Zhengyan, consumed with rage, slapped her face, roaring, "How can you still defend your nephew at such a time? Do you want to sacrifice my daughter's happiness to save his wretched life? You've already cut the resources for the Su family members to support Lu Zheng's reckless behavior. You allowed him to rampage within the mansion, and even had Jiang Fan use his betrothal gift to settle his debt with the Qin family head. Now, he's committed an unforgivable crime that threatens the Su family's extermination, and you still want to protect him. Is it only when the Su family is eradicated that you'll be satisfied? Huh, get out, you get out too. The Su family will be doomed one day if you stay." Wang Yingfeng shrank back in fear. After decades of marriage, this was the first time Su Zhengyan had lost his temper with her. The Su family members all showed a sense of relief. It served her right. She deserved a harsh lesson. This woman had always used Su Zhengyan's kindness to assert her dominant stance and meddle aggressively in Su family affairs. Now her nephew had brought calamity upon the family, yet she remained unrepentant. Su Zhengyan, still seething with anger, shouted, "Break Lu Zheng's legs and throw him onto the street." Several servants who had suffered under Lu Zheng immediately pinned him down and brutally broke his legs. Lu Zheng's screams were agonizing. Without mercy, they threw him out despite his pleas. Su Zhengyan then coldly looked at Zhu Jianshan. "The one who colluded with the Blood Bat Palace has been punished by the Su family for you. Next, whether you want to flay him or slice him up is your concern, but it has nothing to do with the Su family." Zhu Jianshan, unable to continue his coercion, found himself in a dilemma. He was deeply humiliated and felt it was no longer just about obtaining Su Yoren. It was now about venting his pent-up anger. Suddenly, he glanced back at the content on the paper crane. After reading it, he sneered grimly. "You are celebrating too soon. The sect's message also instructed me on another matter." Zhu Jianshan sneered. "The Green Cloud Sect ordered me to conscript the experts from each family in Lonely Boat City to eradicate the remnants of the Blood Bat Palace in the vicinity." I decide how many Blood Bat Palace members each family has to take down. Su Zhengyan frowned. The people of the Blood Bat Palace were mostly brutal and had considerable strength. Most of them were above the 7th layer of Qi Cultivation. The protectors had even reached the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation, and the subalter master was an expert in the Foundation establishment realm. The government had launched multiple sieges against the Blood Bat Palace, all suffering heavy losses. If too many heads were assigned to the Su family, the consequences would be. Zhu Jianshan shook the paper crane. According to the sect's intelligence, the subalter master of the Blood Bat Palace near Lonely Boat City, 2 protectors and 30 members are on the run. If your Su family is willing to bow your head and admit your mistake, and hand over Su Yoren to let me have my way, I'll let the Su family off the hook. After all, the Su family is just a medium-sized family, and there are plenty of families stronger than yours. If you refuse, then I'm sorry, the subalter master is yours to deal with. What? Su Zhengyan's face changed dramatically. You're abusing public power for personal gain. Zhu Jianshan shrugged shamelessly. If you are not satisfied, you can complain to the Green Cloud Sect. But if you can't complete the task in 10 days, then the Su family will face confiscation and imprisonment. Everyone knew that this was not an empty threat. If the assigned task was not completed, the Green Cloud Sect would indeed impose severe punishments. But to ask the Su family to wipe out the subalter master of the Blood Bat Palace, was this a joke? The strongest person in the Su family was Su Zhengyan, only at the 1st layer of Foundation establishment. That subalter master was said to be an expert in the 2nd layer of Foundation establishment. Moreover, the opponent was notoriously ruthless. How could Su Zhengyan be a match? Choose, Zhu Jianshan said leisurely, at this moment. Jiang Fan raised a note. Uncle, leave the subalter master to me. He had confidence that within 10 days he could advance to the Foundation establishment realm, and with the dragon seeking scripture, his strength would further increase. Facing the subalter master would be sufficient. Su Zhengyan patted him on the shoulder appreciatively. Indeed, you are the esteemed son-in-law I recognize. You didn't let me down. He looked sideways at Zhu Jianshan, contemptuous. A despicable man like you is also worthy of marrying my daughter. Our Su family needs people like Jiang Fan with backbone. You're not even fit to carry Jiang Fan's shoes. Get out. Come for the head in 10 days. Zhu Jianshan, humiliated and furious, gritted his teeth. Fine, Su Zhengyan, you asked for this. If I don't see the subalter master's head in 10 days, I'll take yours. And you, Jiang Fan, when you return empty-handed, I wonder how you'll face the Su family. With that, he stormed off in anger. Jiang Fan clenched his fists. 10 days, the time was indeed tight. At this moment, Su Zhengyan patted his shoulder again. Relax, I'll slay the subalter master, you stay home and keep Yoren company. It turned out that he had the same thought as Jiang Fan. Even without Jiang Fan speaking up, he would have resolutely refused. Moreover, for such a dangerous task, how could he, as the family head, remain indifferent while letting the younger generation handle it? After everyone dispersed, the Su family members, feeling the crisis, started diligently practicing their cultivation techniques, except for Jiang Fan. He had already broken through to the 8th layer of Qi cultivation. Further progress would be slow in the short term. To enhance his strength, the only option was attack skills. He took out the high-level yellow-grade attack cultivation technique, the 7-star sword Ju. This was the highest-level swordsmanship in the entire city, exceptionally profound. And what he lacked now was a sword. Thinking of this, he retrieved the thunderstruck wood he had obtained from the auction under the bed. According to the Taiyin Soul technique, thunder-patterned spiritual wood is excellent material for refining magic artifacts. Even without mastering artifact crafting, it can be made into a natural magic artifact. Jiang Fan muttered, carving it bit by bit with a small knife. Half a day later, a crude-looking black wooden sword was held in Jiang Fan's hand. Is this a magic artifact? Jiang Fan scratched his head, trying to swing it at the air, but it didn't resemble a magic artifact. It was said that a magic artifact would unleash special abilities upon activation. This wooden sword showed no reaction. Unwilling to give up, he tried poking his arm lightly with the sword. The result. Upon contact, a thunderbolt surged from the wooden sword, striking Jiang Fan's arm. Immediately, his entire body went numb from the electric shock. His limbs stiffened, unable to move. After a while, he recovered, his heart pounding wildly from the electric shock, making him gasp heavily. This thunderbolt? He finally understood what a natural magic artifact was. Enduring countless lightning strikes, The thunder-patterned spiritual wood contained a trace of thunder power. When attacking, poking the enemy would paralyze their body. This was a lethal weapon for killing enemies. Jiang Fan immediately realized its usefulness and couldn't help but be overjoyed. He immediately started practicing according to the 7-star sword Ju. This sword technique was divided into 3 levels: upper, middle, and lower. The first level was lonely star points. The second level was 3 stars illuminating the moon. The third level was 7 stars to the north. Each move was more powerful than the last, especially the final move, which unleashed a fatal force that could even cut through black iron. Just like comprehending a mental method, he found no bottlenecks in practicing the sword technique either. Except for the last layer, which required some thought, the whole sword technique was without difficulty. 3 days later, he had achieved great success in swordsmanship. Meanwhile, practicing sword techniques by day and mental methods by night, with the help of top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid, he had successfully advanced to 8th layer perfection of Qi Cultivation. He only needed a fierce battle to solidify his spiritual power and successfully break through to the 9th layer. Fan, good news! The Dragon Rising Path in Lonely Boat City has opened. Su Yoren came joyfully to deliver the news. Dragon Rising Path? Jiang Fan was slightly surprised. This was a trial ground set up by the Green Cloud Sect in every city. Not only was the spiritual energy inside rich, making it ideal for cultivation, but more importantly, one could fight various projections within it. These projections were the prodigies of the Green Cloud Sect in their youth. The projections would display all kinds of cultivation techniques and their strongest states. Because they were just projections, they wouldn't harm the trialists but could enhance their combat abilities. It originally opened once every 10 years. But this time, due to the imminent eradication of the Blood Bat Palace remnants, it opened exceptionally. Let's go quickly. Jiang Fan was most in need of actual combat now. Dragon Rising Path was a tower. A winding stone staircase extended from the first layer to the top layer. Many were already standing on the stone steps, vigorously displaying martial skills at the air. Su Yoren said, Fan, each stone step will have a projection. Only by defeating it can you move up a level. It's said that outstanding performers will be rewarded. Jiang Fan didn't care about the rewards. He just wanted to engage in a grand fight soon, so he immediately stepped onto the first layer. Sure enough, as soon as he set his foot, his vision turned black and he appeared on an open field. A projection of an 18-year-old boy slowly appeared. Li Zijin, 5th layer of Qi Cultivation, please instruct me. So the threshold was the 5th layer. Jiang Fan nodded and decisively struck, shattering it with a light punch. No difficulty. Jiang Fan quickly moved to the 2nd step. Wang Gehu, 5th layer perfection of Qi Cultivation, please instruct me. Still a punch. Chen Yuanqing, 6th layer of Qi Cultivation, please instruct me. Still a punch. Yuan Zhangdao, 6th layer perfection of Qi Cultivation, please instruct me. Jiang Fan practically defeated each one with a punch, almost without pausing. It was like walking. Only when he defeated the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation did his steps slow down. When he looked up, he was stunned. To his surprise, in front of him was Su Yining. She was drenched in sweat, furiously striking at the air, indicating the projection of the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation Perfection had caused her considerable trouble. Thinking about it, it was understandable. These projections were all prodigies of the Green Cloud Sect. The cultivation techniques they practiced were far superior to the lower yellow-level techniques of the Su family. Although Su Yining had reached the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation, the difference in cultivation techniques became evident when facing the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation Perfection. Is the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation Perfection really this difficult? Jiang Fan pondered as he stepped forward. Immediately, a tall young girl with an exceptionally beautiful face appeared before him. Ha! Isn't this the girl in purple I met at the City Lord Mansion? What's her name? Liu something Xian. Jiang Fan still remembered that she had given him a purple token. To this day, he still didn't know what the token was for. However, the projection before him was clearly the girl in purple in her youth, a few years younger. Liu Qimin, 8th layer of Qi Cultivation Perfection, please advise. As she finished speaking, she drew a purple sword and performed a brilliant set of swordsmanship. Jiang Fan quickly drew his sword to counter. Although her swordsmanship was extraordinary, his 7-star sword Ju was a notch above. It only took 3 rounds to knock her long sword away. As the darkness in front of him receded, Jiang Fan had succeeded. Glancing to the side, he saw Su Yining still gritting his teeth, trapped in a fierce struggle. Next, Jiang Fan stepped onto the 9th layer of the stairs. A handsome young man appeared. Chen Zhengdao, 9th layer of Qi Cultivation, please advise. Meanwhile, above the clouds of the Chen family, Liu Qimin frowned. Uncle Chen, are you sure she is really covering for that 3-star soul master? They had been monitoring her for 4 days. Chen Silin had only visited various properties of the Chen family without contacting any strangers. This made Chen Zhengdao start to doubt his own judgment. Could it be that I am being paranoid? He touched his nose. Liu Qimin sighed. This 3-star soul master is really hard to find. Huh. Suddenly, Liu Qimin stood up abruptly, looking surprised towards the Dragon Rising Path. Someone broke my projection in the Dragon Rising Path. Chen Zhengdao laughed. What's so surprising about that? It was just a projection of you at 18. Liu Qimin was astonished. But this person beat me in only 3 moves. Oh. Chen Zhengdao showed a look of surprise. Even at 18, Liu Qimin's strength was not to be underestimated. He pondered for a moment. Could it be that you sensed it wrong? Even the one with the 9-grade spiritual root in the city is only at the 7th layer of Qi Cultivation. Defeating you in 3 moves is unrealistic. The Dragon Rising Path was only open to the young. It was unlikely that such a powerful young person existed. Liu Qimin thought about it and hesitated. Maybe. After all, it sounded exaggerated for someone of the same age to defeat her, the daughter of the sect master, in just 3 moves. It was likely an illusion. However, soon after, Chen Zhengdao, who was still monitoring, also stood up abruptly. He looked toward the Dragon Rising Path with a look of astonishment. What happened, Uncle Chen? Liu Qimin was startled by his reaction. Chen Zhengdao showed a look of surprise and doubt. My projection was also defeated. The opponent only used 10 moves. Huh! Liu Qimin was even more shocked. Really? At that time, you were known as the #1 prodigy within the Green Cloud Sect and unbeaten in your era. Chen Zhengdao's 8th-grade spiritual root was no joke. Plus, with the resources of the Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion, at 18, he was unbeaten within the Green Cloud Sect. His projection being defeated implied the emergence of an even more extraordinary prodigy. You stay and continue monitoring. I'll go see who this is. Chen Zhengdao left Liu Qimin and hurried over. I'll go too. This lonely boat city is too strange. Liu Qimin bit her lip, feeling indignant. It was already surprising when a 9-grade spiritual root emerged in such a remote place, attributing it to immense luck. Now a 3-star soul master appeared too, not finding the soul master but another world-class prodigy. What was Lonely Boat City up to? Was it aiming for the heavens? She hurriedly rode her blue giant eagle and flew away. At this time, Jiang Fan had already stepped onto the 10th step. Yun Tianzhu, 9th layer of Qi Cultivation Perfection, please advise. As soon as they clashed, Jiang Fan immediately felt immense pressure. But that was better. He fought with all his might, even using the lightning attribute of his wooden sword. Even so, after hundreds of rounds, he barely succeeded in passing the challenge. Looking at the 11th layer above, the exhausted Jiang Fan chose to go back the way he came. Beyond that was the Foundation Establishment realm. He felt pressured facing the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation Perfection, not to mention the Foundation Establishment realm. There was no need to force it. He now needed to go back and cultivate quietly, taking the opportunity to solidify his spiritual power and break through to the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation in one go. He would come back to try again when the opportunity arose. On his return, he found Su Yining still entangled with the projection of the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation Perfection, unable to gain an advantage. Meanwhile, Su Yoren had successfully defeated the 5th layer of Qi Cultivation and the 5th layer of Perfection. She was now fiercely battling the 6th layer of Qi Cultivation. Jiang Fan was immensely pleased, choosing not to disturb her and left the Dragon Rising Path. Instead, he went to the Chen family. Tonight, he would break through to the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation and should prepare for Foundation Establishment. Any cultivator aiming for Foundation Establishment needed a particular elixir. The Pifu Pill? This was a 2nd-grade spirit pill. Currently, only the Soul Master from Green Cloud Sect could refine it. It was almost never available on the market. If it was, it circulated on the black market. Huh, why are you here? Seeing the heavily robed Jiang Fan, Chen Silin hurriedly pulled him into her boudoir. Looking at the exquisite feminine room, Jiang Fan felt a little unnatural. It was his first time in a woman's boudoir. However, he was soon alarmed by Chen Silin's words. Someone is looking for me? Jiang Fan was shocked. It didn't matter if the person was good or bad, he couldn't reveal his identity. For now, he was too weak, without any background, yet possessing abilities that others coveted. If discovered, the consequences would be unimaginable. In that case, I'm afraid I won't be able to supply top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid for a while. Jiang Fan pondered, but this will affect your Chen family's business. He had promised to supply top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid continuously. Chen Silin was anxious. Why still care about my family's business? It's more important for you to protect yourself. Never come back here again. Seeing her care so much for him, Jiang Fan felt even more guilty. How about this? Does your family have materials for the Pifu pill? I can refine more now, and the Chen family can rely on that to attract customers. Once the situation passes, I'll continue to refine top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. Pifu pill. Chen Silin was surprised, but only Green Cloud Sect has the pill recipe. Jiang Fan smiled. What's so difficult about that? Soon after, the alchemy room of the Chen family was filled with the fragrance of elixirs. Chen Zhengdao and Liu Qimin, who had rushed to the Dragon Rising path, found nothing. Too late. This person even defeated Yun Tianzhu, who was the pavilion master of our heavenly mechanism pavilion when he was young. Chen Zhengdao was astonished. Liu Qimin was also stunned. Winning against her and Chen Zhengdao was already impressive, but even Yun Tianzhu had been defeated. Yun Tianzhu was a supergiant on the continent's top 10 experts list. He was defeated. Just who was this challenger? Despite extensive inquiries, they found no answers. Suddenly, Liu Qimin noticed strange clouds gathering over the Chen family. Uncle Chen, what's that? Chen Zhengdao looked up, showing surprise. It's elixir fragrance. High-quality elixir fragrance. Someone is refining elixirs in the Chen family. They both thought of one person at the same time, the 3-star Soul Master. They decisively mounted their giant eagle and rushed over. At the same time, Jiang Fan placed 20 low-grade Pifu pills, which he had just refined, in front of Chen Silin. I kept some for myself. You take these and sell them. Chen Silin was overjoyed. The Pifu pills were even more enticing than the top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. After all, many people had cultivated their entire lives and managed to reach the 9th layer of Qi cultivation, but suffered from the lack of Pifu pills. Now that there was one lying right in front of them, they were willing to pay any price. Because once one achieved foundation establishment, their status would change dramatically. And with a total of 20 pills, selling one a day could easily maintain the Chen family's reputation. How should I give you the money then? Also, the Qi cultivation liquid from earlier has sold out, and I owe you the money for that too. Chen Silin bent down to get the money. Jiang Fan waved his hand. No need for now, just keep it with you. Feeling that it was unsafe to stay at the Chen family's place for too long, he hurriedly took his leave. Chen Silin, however, felt quite delighted inside, gazing at Jiang Fan's departing figure with a murmured, "So he trusts me that much, huh?" Soon after Jiang Fan left, Chen Zhengdao and Liu Qimin descended aboard a giant eagle. They did not bother to hide anymore, directly asking, "Where is that 3-star Soul Master?" Chen Silin answered honestly, "He just left." Chen Zhengdao noticed the Pifu pills beside her and immediately stepped forward to pick up a vial and smelled it. Pifu pills? His pupils contracted. The quality is excellent, indeed the work of a 3-star Soul Master. Liu Qimin was about to lose her temper, stomping her foot. How can it be so coincidental? He came right after we left, and he left just as we arrived. Who exactly is spying on whom here? With her stomp, the giant eagle underneath felt the pain and turned its head, revealing innocent, watery eyes. Why don't you get mad at that 3-star Soul Master? Why are you stomping on me? I am just a passerby bird. Looking at the Green Cloud Sect Master's daughter, who was angry to the point of losing her cool, Chen Silin couldn't help but worry for Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan, oh Jiang Fan, don't get caught by this young miss, or she will surely teach you a lesson. Chen Zhengdao had also run out of patience, saying, "We can only say that our luck is too bad. We missed the prodigy, and now we missed the 3-star Soul Master. How about this? I'll stay here and you go guard the Dragon Rising path. We should be able to catch one of them." Liu Qimin regretted deeply. If she had stayed just now, she certainly could have caught the 3-star Soul Master. So she agreed immediately, and the two of them again flew up into the sky on the giant eagle, leaving Chen Silin with a sweaty brow. Fine, they're monitoring us openly now. Back at the Su mansion, Jiang Fan, having just experienced a big battle, felt the spiritual power in his body solidifying, quickly swallowed a vial of top-grade Qi cultivation liquid, and began to sit cross-legged in meditation. Soon after, his body shook, and a rich spiritual power overflowed from his body. He had astonishingly achieved the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation. Feeling the spiritual power in his body twice as dense, Jiang Fan felt confident that he could spar a few rounds with a foundation establishment projection of the 11th layer. Young Master Jiang, young Master Jiang. Suddenly, there was an urgent knocking on the door from the housekeeper outside. Jiang Fan opened the door curiously, looking at the panting housekeeper Zhang and writing in surprise, "What happened?" Housekeeper Zhang didn't even catch his breath, saying, the city lord's daughter, Miss Yiqingsu, has come for a visit." Yiqingsu. Wasn't she Su Yining's close friend? 3 years ago, she went elsewhere for further studies, and now she suddenly came to the Su family. She must be looking for Su Yining. Jiang Fan wrote, "Has Su Yining not returned yet?" Housekeeper Zhang anxiously said, "Not only has the young miss not returned, but the family head and madam, and the clan members have also gone outside to inquire about the Blood Bat Palace. No one is home, so we have to ask you to entertain them." No wonder they found Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan felt a bit unwilling. In his memory, Yiqingsu, influenced by Su Yining, didn't have a good impression of him either. She would always give him a cold shoulder whenever they met, never with a pleasant expression. But the Su family truly had no one left. No choice, he had to brace himself and go to the main hall. Yiqingsu, dressed in a silk moon-white long robe, with wide sleeves embroidered with delicate golden thread butterflies, had her glossy black hair gracefully draped behind her. Her slender and graceful figure, vaguely noticeable under the soft fabric, stirred one's imagination. A fair and rosy face, cold and noble. When she saw it was Jiang Fan who came, she showed a puzzled expression. "Who are you?" After all, she seldom saw Jiang Fan, and she had been away for 3 years now. Jiang Fan's appearance had undergone some changes. He picked up the pen and started writing swiftly. Seeing him pick up the pen, Yiqingsu realized, "No need to write, you're Jiang Fan the Mute." Although they rarely met, Jiang Fan's name had appeared in her ears countless times. Almost every time they met, Su Yining would complain about Jiang Fan, complaining that he was a mute, complaining he had no spirit root, complaining he shamelessly wanted to marry her. Yiqingsu had heard it so much that her ears almost got calluses. She had already formed a pre-existing bad impression of this person she had never encountered. Jiang Fan quickly finished writing a line. "Su Yining is at the Dragon Rising Path, and Uncle Su and Aunt Su are also busy outside. I'll have someone make tea for you." So Su Yining was not at home. Yiqingsu felt disappointed, standing up. "There's no need. When Su Yining returns, tell her to come to the City Lord Mansion to find me. I need her help." Jiang Fan nodded. Breathing a slight sigh of relief, he didn't know how to entertain Su Yining's close friend. Being too indifferent or too enthusiastic didn't seem appropriate at this moment. Housekeeper Zhang suddenly ran back in a panic, a gash on his forehead bleeding profusely. "Young Master Jiang, it's bad. The Qin family head brought his clan into our house, beating people and taking things at will. You should go and take a look." "What?" Jiang Fan was shocked. The Qin family head's arrival, no doubt, was to demand the 30,000 taels of silver Liu Zhang owed. But if he wanted money, why would he beat people? He grabbed the wooden sword on the table, bowed to Yiqingsu, and rushed to the front yard. Yiqingsu shook her head slightly. Su Yining was right. This Jiang Fan is not only mute, but also a blockhead, not at all bright. The Qin family came with their whole clan. What can he do without any cultivation? Just offering himself up. The immediate priority is to quickly inform the Su clan members to return. Or if he was a little smarter, he could have asked me for help. With a sigh, she helplessly moved her lotus-like steps. "Fine, since I'm here, I'll help Su Yining this time." Front yard. The young master of the Qin family snatched a 3-year-old Su family child from the hands of an old maidservant. Ignoring the child's terrified flailing and crying, he grabbed one of the child's legs and dangled him upside down in the air, disdainfully saying, "The scum of the Su family, all the same, so annoying to look at." Then he casually threw the child into a corner. And over there it happened to be where the servants were boiling water. The old maidservant and maids screamed in fright and rushed to save him, but they were too far away and were too late. Jiang Fan arrived just in time to see this scene. His pupils contracted instantly. He didn't hesitate. Kicking off with both legs, he sped over like the wind. Seeing it was still too late, he threw the wooden sword in his hand. The wooden sword precisely pierced through the child's hood, carrying the child and their clothing to a distant spot, just barely avoiding a pot of boiling water beneath. He rushed forward to check, confirming the child was unharmed, then drew out the wooden sword and stared coldly at young Master Qin, writing. You even target children. Is everyone in the Qin family a beast? Knowing he had almost caused a fatality, young Master Qin felt a moment of guilt, but recognizing Jiang Fan, anger overtook him again. So it's you. My father has been humiliated by you multiple times. I've come for you today. Everyone, get over here. Several Qin family members immediately surrounded him. Yi Qingsu, who had arrived at the front yard, initially wanted to stop the Qin family's actions, but seeing Jiang Fan's earlier sword throw, she was stunned. Was that strike a mere coincidence? She wondered uncertainly. To hit the child's hood at such a distance without harming a single hair. That was a feat only a swordsmanship master could achieve, right? But Jiang Fan was clearly a person without cultivation. Had she misunderstood Jiang Fan all along? Intending to step forward, she instead withdrew another step, hiding behind the door, silently observing Jiang Fan. Young master, such a worthless guy, I can handle him alone. A Qi Cultivation third-layer Qin family youth brandished his broadsword and charged. Wait, young Master Qin tried to caution, but it was too late. Jiang Fan bent his knees slightly, and with a casual punch, he struck the youth's abdomen, instantly breaking several ribs. Behind the door, Yi Qingsu looked shocked. Didn't Su Yining say he had no spirit root? Then what was that punch? What shocked her even more was the Qin family head's next words. Did a donkey kick your head? He defeated Lu Zhang. His cultivation is at least at the Qi Cultivation's 6th layer. Attack together, he commanded. Several Qin family members surrounded him, varying in cultivation from the Qi Cultivation 5th layer to the 6th layer. However, despite their numbers, they couldn't gain the upper hand. Jiang Fan swiftly knocked them all to the ground. Each was injured to varying degrees, lying on the ground groaning in pain. Young Master Qin was startled. Have you broken through again? Jiang Fan coldly wrote, Why don't you try and find out? He leaped forward, aiming his right fist directly at young Master Qin's face. Young Master Qin snorted angrily. Am I scared of you? He unleashed his Qi Cultivation 7th layer realm, his fists attacking like twin dragons. However, upon contact, young Master Qin felt overwhelming force crashing against him. Without suspense, he was sent flying backward by a single punch. Outrageous! Qin Changsheng, who had been looting elsewhere, rushed over in time to catch his son, snorting. You dare hit my son? Seeing his son covered in blood, the Qin family head was furious. Jiang Fan coldly wrote, You vandalize Su Mansion and blame others for injuring your son? You are as shameless as ever, Qin Changsheng righteously declared. Repaying debts is justified? The Su family is about to be confiscated, and I took a bit of property to cover it. What's wrong with that? Jiang Fan did not speak further. He took out a silver note worth 300,000 taels and threw it on the ground, writing, Here's the money. I pay it for the Su family, but anyone who fights in Su Mansion won't leave unscathed. Seeing the silver note, Qin Changsheng sighed in relief. But regarding Jiang Fan's words, he sneered disdainfully. You think you're somebody? My Qin family comes and goes as we please. What can you do? He then picked up the silver note and waved his hand. Let's go. The Qin family members left in a grand procession. Jiang Fan, expressionless, brandished his wooden sword and charged into the group of Qin family members. Seeing him dare to confront so many Qin family members alone, Qin Changsheng was both humiliated and furious. This was utterly disregarding his Qin family. Attack together! Even an elephant fears a swarm of ants. Let alone a mere Jiang Fan, they could drown him with a single spit per person. Jiang Fan remained unfazed. The wooden sword swung instantly. Lonely star points. 3 stars illuminating the moon. Each move was more powerful than the previous. Although it was a wooden sword, not sharp, it still drew lines of blood. Screams echoed in the courtyard from the Qin family members. Jiang Fan moved like a tiger among sheep, striking one down with every swing. In just a few breaths, most of the Qin family members had fallen. Qin Changsheng was in a mixture of shock and anger. Little beast, I won't spare you. He unleashed his Qi Cultivation 8th layer perfection realm, pushing through the crowd toward Jiang Fan, clutching an iron sword and slashing fiercely. But with just one exchange, Jiang Fan disarmed him and slashed his chest, causing his blood to spurt uncontrollably. The family head is injured. Run, run. Panic-stricken, the Qin family members hurriedly carried Qin Changsheng away. Jiang Fan pursued, cutting down all the Qin family members as they retreated from Su Mansion, ensuring no Qin family member left unscathed. Seeing his family so miserably beaten, Qin Changsheng's eyes rolled in fury. Jiang Fan, Su family, you will pay, just wait. The 1-star soul master of the Qin family will return soon. Then it will be your end. A genuine soul master in any city was a revered figure. Even the city lord of Lonely Boat City would bow in reverence to a one-star soul master. If angered, mountains and rivers would change color and rivers of blood would flow. One-star soul master, Jiang Fan shrugged, let him come. Returning to the courtyard, he ordered the servants to clean up the mess. Those who once scorned Jiang Fan now obeyed him in fear, not daring to breathe loudly. This battle, Jiang Fan single-handedly fought the entire Qin family. What an invincible, unparalleled feat. Hiding behind the door, Yi Qingsu also came out with bright eyes, as if discovering a treasure, exclaiming, "Young Master Jiang, you truly are full of hidden talents." Jiang Fan had only demonstrated his Qi Cultivation 8th layer realm earlier. His swordsmanship had yet to reveal its strongest technique. He hadn't even used his full strength. He calmly wrote, "You overpraise me. I still have to clean up. I cannot entertain you, Miss Yi. Please make yourself at home." With that, he joined in cleaning the place. Yi Qingsu was a bit displeased. She, the city lord's daughter, spoke to him, and he seemed indifferent. Could he be getting arrogant with a bit of skill? She felt he needed to be taught a lesson in humility. "Young Master Jiang, I see your swordsmanship slightly lacking. Coincidentally, my master is a swordsmanship expert. I can guide you a bit." "Guide me?" Jiang Fan thought briefly and willingly agreed. Yi Qingsu's talent wasn't inferior to Su Yining's, and she had trained outside. Her skills should be strong. She was a worthy opponent for a full-strength duel. He drew his wooden sword, inviting her to start. Yi Qingsu smirked inwardly. "Prideful boy, watch how I teach you." She said this while drawing her green sword and displaying brilliant swordsmanship, revealing her Qi Cultivation 9th layer realm. Jiang Fan immediately grew serious, not daring to conceal his strength. He unleashed his Qi Cultivation 9th layer realm and used his strongest move, 7 stars to the north. At the moment their swords met, Yi Qingsu felt an overwhelmingly powerful strike. Her sword was instantly disarmed and flew out of her hand. Jiang Fan's sword effortlessly broke through her defense, stopping at her throat. Jiang Fan was stunned. Yi Qingsu was also dumbfounded. "I lost, in one move, just one move." "Wait, I wasn't prepared just now. Let's do it again," Yi Qingsu said awkwardly. She felt that she couldn't have lost so quickly and decisively. With talent no less than Su Yining's, and after 3 years of training with a master, could she be defeated in one move by the Su family's little mute? Who would believe that? It must have been her own carelessness that let Jiang Fan take advantage. Jiang Fan immediately nodded. He also felt that Yi Qingsu lost too quickly. It seemed she wasn't even as strong as the 8th layer perfection projection of Liu Qimin. It must be that she didn't go all out. With the intention of regaining her honor, Yi Qingsu focused entirely. "Watch out! Start chasing swordsmanship." She flipped her wrist, and her swordsmanship became dazzling, its power more than doubled compared to before. Jiang Fan also gave it his all. 7 stars to the north. Clash, the two swords met, and the familiar force returned. Yi Qingsu couldn't hold onto her sword again, and it flew out of her hand. Immediately, a wooden sword was placed against her throat. Yi Qingsu's cheeks turned red at a visible speed. One move, another single move. If she could claim carelessness before, what about this time? The result was clear. Jiang Fan's strength was far above hers. Thinking about how she had boasted to guide him, her face reddened even more. She wished she could find a hole to crawl into. To be a novice defeated in one move, yet claiming to guide a master whose swordsmanship was far superior. Oh gods, how embarrassing. Jiang Fan gradually understood that this was Yi Qingsu's true strength. He also sensed her embarrassment, so he withdrew his sword and wrote, "I'm a man, so I'm stronger, the match doesn't count." After saying that, he quietly returned to help the servants with their work. Hearing the excuse Jiang Fan gave her, Yi Qingsu felt unexpectedly warm inside. Recalling the scene where Jiang Fan had risked everything to save the Su family's child, she found his image contrasting sharply with Su Yining's descriptions. He's clearly a very kind and thoughtful person. Why does Su Yining always badmouth him? Her impression of Jiang Fan did a complete 180. The real Jiang Fan was a deeply hidden top expert, absolutely one of the top prodigies among his peers in Lonely Boat City. His character wasn't bad either. Suddenly, she remembered the purpose of her visit to Su Yining. Her eyes brightened and she said, "Young Master Jiang, the remnants of the Blood Bat Palace are causing trouble. I returned this time to help my father alleviate his worries. So, I plan to form a Shadow Guard team to respond to the Blood Bat Palace remnants at any time. Do you want to join?" Hearing this, Jiang Fan was intrigued. To kill the subaltern master of the Blood Bat Palace, strength alone wasn't enough. He also needed to know the movements of the Blood Bat Palace remnants. Otherwise, if he couldn't find the subaltern master, what could he do? And the City Lord Mansion, of course, could gather more information on the Blood Bat Palace than an individual. Seeing Jiang Fan's silence, Yi Qingsu thought he was weighing the pros and cons and said, "Don't worry, I won't let you help for nothing. As long as you make a contribution, you can visit the book collection pavilion in the City Lord Mansion." Books. Jiang Fan was tempted. Although he already had 2 high-level attack and mental methods, he didn't have any books on other aspects. And the City Lord Mansion was definitely the place with the richest collection of books in Lonely Boat City. He nodded, "All right." Yi Qingsu was overjoyed and said, "You are the first shadow guard I've recruited, so I'll call you no one's shadow guard. Dealing with the remnants of the Blood Bat Palace is very likely to invite their retaliation, so wear this mask when you act." She took out a gray mask she had prepared and handed it to Jiang Fan. The mask only revealed the facial features. The forehead was engraved with the number 1, representing that this was the No One Shadow Guard. "Moreover, your identity as No One Shadow Guard will only be known to me. I won't tell anyone," Yi Qingsu added. Jiang Fan felt more at ease, took the mask and tucked it into his chest. He wrote, "What exactly does the Shadow Guard do?" Yi Qingsu said, "Nothing, just wait for the information. If the Blood Bat Palace remnants are found, there will be a signal smoke in the sky. Just arrive in time. Even better, if it was a patrolling duty, it would be too time-consuming. Besides, my Shadow Guard team only recruits prodigies. The higher the rank, the stronger the skill, and you are the Shadow Guard I value the most. Next is Su Yining. Since you are the No One Shadow Guard, this No Two Shadow Guard mask is for you to pass to her. You two come to the City Lord Mansion tomorrow, because I will recruit several other Shadow Guards to gather and provide you with some resource support." Jiang Fan nodded and accepted the No Two Shadow Guard mask. Only then did Yi Qingsu leave, satisfied. Just as she left, Su Yining and Su Yoren returned, supporting each other, exhausted. "Jiang Fan, when did you get back?" Su Yining lay on the stone table, gulping several cups of tea, and reproached. "Such a good opportunity at the Dragon Rising Path, and you didn't cherish it." Jiang Fan was taken aback. "How did I not cherish it?" He wrote, "I challenged to the point where I couldn't challenge any further, so I had to withdraw." Any higher was the Foundation establishment realm. With his 8th layer perfection in Qi Cultivation at that time, it would have been a struggle to go any higher. Su Yining pursed her lips. "Fight against adversity, don't you understand?" Su Yoren couldn't help but join in the reproach. "Yes, haven't I also been stuck at the 8th layer for a long time? But through repeated tempering, I gradually became stronger and finally succeeded in breaking through. You went up there for such a short time and you were already gone." Jiang Fan touched his nose. "Is it possible that my strength is too high, allowing me to quickly complete the challenges appropriate to my realm?" But these didn't need to be spoken out loud. He took out the No Two Shadow Guard mask and handed it to Su Yining, writing, "Miss Yi Qingsu came by and asked me to give this to you." Shadow Guard. She's really planning to form it? She talked about it 3 years ago and said she would definitely invite me to be the No One Shadow Guard. Su Yining happily accepted it, but when she saw that the forehead was engraved with 2, she was stunned. Why is it No Two Shadow Guard? Who did she give no one to? Is there another prodigy in the city more powerful than me? Impossible. She looked at it repeatedly, filled with disbelief. Upon learning that they would meet all the Shadow Guards tomorrow, her phoenix eyes narrowed slightly. "All right, I want to see why that no one is ranked above me." Jiang Fan was speechless. Is it necessary to be so competitive? He shrugged and went back to continue his cultivation. As he was about to leave, Su Yining's lips moved as if she wanted to say something. Finally, encouraged by Su Yoren, she said, Jiang Fan, could I borrow some money? I heard the Chen family recently came out with a new pill called the Pifu pill, which is for foundation establishment. Only one is auctioned each day, and the price will definitely be very high. So, without thinking, Jiang Fan directly wrote, "No." Such a straightforward rejection made Su Yining's face burn with embarrassment, her lips tightly bitten together. Su Yoren couldn't help but plead, "Fan, sister wants to break through to the foundation establishment realm before the Green Cloud Sect elders arrive, so they will look favorably on her. Please help her." Jiang Fan still didn't hesitate. He directly took out all his silver notes from his chest, writing, "How much do you need?" The difference in treatment between the two was oceans apart. This made Su Yining, who successfully borrowed money, feel anything but happy. Could it be that in Jiang Fan's mind, she was much less important than Su Yoren? In her stubbornness, She reached into her neckline and took out a thumb-sized jade bead that was still warm. Su Yining bit her red lips, handed it to Jiang Fan, and said, "Take it. I won't borrow your money for nothing." Jiang Fan took it in surprise. Feeling its warmth, he couldn't help but glance at Su Yining's ample chest. Then he quickly looked away and feigned indifference as he asked, "What is this?" Su Yining gazed at the jade bead, eyes full of reluctance. "This was given to me at birth by a passing expert who saw my unique bone structure. He said there was a cultivation technique hidden inside, but we've never managed to unlock it. Now, I'm using it as collateral. When I repay the money, you can return it to me. Don't lose it." Oh, Jiang Fan had indeed heard the maids mention it. They said that 18 years ago, when Su Yining was born, a rainbow arched over the birthing room. The astonishing phenomenon caught the attention of a passing expert. After investigating, he found Su Yining to be exceptionally talented. He believed it was destiny and gave them a precious gift as a token. Unexpectedly, Su Yining used it as collateral with him. After some thought, Jiang Fan returned it, writing, "This item is too precious to you. I can't bear the responsibility if it's lost. No need to pawn it, you can take it back." However, Su Yining stubbornly said, "The poor do not accept charity. Don't think I owe you a favor. HMPH. She picked out 2 million from the pile of silver notes and said, "I'll repay you in the future." Then she stormed off in a huff. Jiang Fan looked bewildered. How did I offend her? Su Yoren watched his sister's retreating figure and sighed softly. "It's not that you offended her. It's that she has started to care about you." This was also Su Yoren's concern. As Jiang Fan performed increasingly well, would his sister still dislike Jiang Fan as she did before? If one day she started liking Jiang Fan, what would he do then? After all, this engagement was actually meant for his sister. "You're overthinking. Someone who only thinks of herself, how could she care about me?" Jiang Fan shook his head, and seeing no one around, took out some top-grade Qi Cultivation liquid and handed it to her. "Use it quickly." This time Su Yoren didn't refuse. The remnants of Blood Bat Palace weighed like a mountain on all Su family members. Increasing their strength was a dire need. After sending off Su Yoren, Jiang Fan returned to his room. Taking out the jade bead, he examined it with curiosity. On closer inspection, aside from its excellent quality being a top-grade jade carving, there was nothing special about it. But since that expert gifted it, it can't be just an ordinary jade bead. He tried various methods like holding it over a candle flame, soaking it in water, and even immersing it in Qi Cultivation liquid. All the methods he'd heard in strange tales for unlocking secrets, he tried them all, yet the jade bead remained unchanged. "Is it really just an ordinary jade bead?" Jiang Fan dejectedly hung it around his neck. Such a precious item, if lost, Su Yining would probably kill him with a sword, wouldn't she? "Why do I even need it? It's just a hot potato with no use." Jiang Fan lay on the bed, lightly patting his chest, muttering. But with his palms' gentle pats, a faint trace of soul power emanated from the jade bead. Such faint soul power was imperceptible to ordinary people, but Jiang Fan instantly perked up. In a flash, he hopped up like a carp and pulled out the jade bead, his face full of shock. "Soul power? Could it be that it requires soul power like the Taiyin soul technique to unlock?" Jiang Fan suddenly felt parched. Swallowing hard, he carefully released a wisp of soul power, probing into the jade bead. Immediately, the jade bead responded. It emitted a strong green light beam. Projected into the air, it transformed into a floating text. "Profound level high movement technique. Solitary wild goose shadow?" "What?" Jiang Fan was stunned. It was actually a profound level high cultivation technique, and a rare movement technique at that. Among all cultivation techniques, movement techniques were the scarcest. Throughout the entire Lonely Boat City, there wasn't a single movement technique, not even an inferior one. But this solitary wild goose shadow, before him, not only was it a movement technique, it was profound level high. The expert indeed didn't fool the Su family. He truly left a cultivation technique for Su Yining, and it was extremely advanced. He immediately noted down the technique keenly. At the end, he found a message from the expert. "Heaven towards mountain, cloud-floating cave. I have left some items there. Hope they will be useful to you." Jiang Fan paused. This was another opportunity the expert left for Su Yining, right? But if he remembered correctly, wasn't this the sub-branch of Blood Bat Palace? He showed a bit of doubt. "Forget it, no need to think too much. Better practice this movement technique first." Jiang Fan couldn't wait. Solitary Wild Goose Shadow was divided into 3 layers. The first layer, great success, allowed one to tread waves and boats. walking on walls like flat ground. The second layer, Great Success, allowed one to move through a forest of leaves, gliding 100 meters in one step. The third layer, Great Success, allowed one to use spiritual energy as wings, flying freely in the air. Just reading the introduction, Jiang Fan's blood boiled. Of course, the cultivation technique also clearly stated that it was a profound level high and the most difficult movement technique. First layer, Great Success, required a diligent effort for 1 year. One must be neither arrogant nor impatient. Is it so? Jiang Fan instantly started to comprehend it carefully, and after a moment he couldn't help but exclaim, "The first layer doesn't seem that hard." Thanks to that green spirit light baptism, so far, all the so-called high-difficulty cultivation techniques weren't that difficult for him. The next morning, Jiang Fan in his small room moved at an incredible speed, bouncing and running back and forth on the walls, ceiling, and floor. With a casual step, he could span several meters. If he went all out, he'd probably crash into the opposite wall from one end of the room. He was drenched in sweat with eyes full of excitement. Merely small success achieves such speed at Great Success. Wouldn't one be as light as a feather, speeding like the wind? Feeling the brand new experience brought by the movement technique, Jiang Fan was extremely satisfied. He wanted to keep practicing, but unfortunately he had to go to the City Lord's mansion to meet up. Leaving the Su mansion, he quickly arrived at the City Lord mansion, found a secluded alley, and put on the No One mask. Using the movement technique, he easily scaled the 10-foot-high wall. City Lord Mansion, right courtyard. 9 shadow guards stood in the courtyard. Yiqingsu frowned slightly, looking towards the courtyard entrance. Numbers 2 to 9 were present. Only Jiang Fan, the No One shadow guard, hadn't arrived. Su Yining, already full of dissatisfaction, said, "Such arrogance making so many of us wait for one person. Does he really think he is some kind of prodigy?" As she spoke, the other 8 shadow guards voiced their discontent. All of them were the cream of the crop, hand-picked by Yiqingsu for millions, who would want to lower themselves. Yiqingsu could only calm them. "Be at ease. I've already instructed the gatekeepers to notify me as soon as he arrives." As she spoke, Yiqingsu glanced at Su Yining's side accidentally. Her pupils contracted sharply. Because, unbeknownst to her, someone was standing there silently next to Su Yining. The shadow guards noticed the unusual gaze from Yiqingsu and looked over. What they saw shocked them all, especially Su Yining, who, standing close by, shockingly found someone appearing beside her like a ghost, causing her heart to skip a beat. Seeing the mask and the number 1 engraved on it, she felt relieved. Yet her heart continued to race. If this person were an enemy, she would already be a corpse, right? When did he arrive? How did he silently make his way close by without her noticing? Could it be that he had cultivated some mysterious secret technique? This move thoroughly shocked several shadow guards. Those who intended to challenge were now restraining their thoughts. No wonder he can be the No One shadow guard. Such a secretive and unpredictable movement technique, at least I find it hard to counter. Yiqingsu's insight is indeed commendable. Listening to their compliments, Su Yining became even more dissatisfied. Embarrassed by her poor performance, she stared at Jiang Fan's mask and said, "To deal with the remnants of the Bloodbat Palace, real strength is required. Assassination might not be of great use." This statement resonated with some of the experienced shadow guards. In the art of assassination, the principle is to strike enemies in the open while staying hidden, thus achieving a deadly blow. However, the remnants of the Bloodbat Palace lurked in the shadows, acted mysteriously, and would not give them the chance for an assassination. So to face the Bloodbat Palace, hard skills were indeed required. Jiang Fan glanced at Su Yining's mask and couldn't help but smile. Even through the mask, he could imagine Su Yining's stubborn expression at this moment. Moreover, with the mask, he did not need to write any more and could speak without any reservations. "Who told you that I'm only skilled in assassination?" Su Yining snorted. "We'll see the truth on the battlefield." The other shadow guards were not surprised by their exchange. They were merely bantering. However, Yiqingsu was stunned beyond words. Jiang Fan could speak. Wasn't he mute? For a moment, Yiqingsu found herself immensely curious about Jiang Fan. Why had he pretended to be mute? Why pretend to be useless? Why humble himself in the Su family? All these questions made her briefly lost in thought. Until Su Yining's impatient reminder, "Miss Yi, why did you summon us?" Yiqingsu snapped back to reality and clapped her hands with a smile. Several guards came in, carrying various weapons and low-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. "Here are all kinds of weapons, forged with black iron, both hard and sharp. And these are low-grade Qi Cultivation liquid. Each person can take 10 bottles. Upon hearing this, the shadow guard's eyes lit up. Low-grade Qi Cultivation liquid aside, these weapons were all top-grade weapons specifically crafted by the City Lord's mansion. Their quality far surpassed those made by ordinary blacksmiths. Su Yining was delighted. Qi Cultivation liquid held little allure for her now, but a fine sword was something she urgently needed. The green sword in her hand was of medium quality, far inferior to the divine weapons before her. Her eyes landed on a blue-black iron sword. While others were still grabbing Qi Cultivation liquid, she joyfully ran over. However, just a few steps in, a strong gust of wind swept past her. Soon the blue sword she had her eyes on was held in the No-One Shadow Guard's hand. "A good sword," Jiang Fan waited and remarked. Su Yining snapped. "I saw it first." Jiang Fan retorted without turning his head. "I want all the weapons here. Does that mean they're all mine?" Knowing she was at a disadvantage, Su Yining bit her lip and said nothing. Jiang Fan then noticed a black sword amongst the weapons. Picking it up, he found it heavier, but more suitable for the big and broad moves of the seven-star sword technique. So he sheathed the black sword on his back in one swift motion. Then he tossed the blue sword to Su Yining. "Fine, take it." Su Yining bit her lip and pushed it back. "I don't want it. I don't want anything you don't want." She was in a foul mood. Being pitied by Jiang Fan yesterday and again by the No-One Shadow Guard today. It was utterly infuriating. Were all the men in Lonely Boat City the same? Jiang Fan was speechless. Dealing with the Bloodbat Palace remnants is dangerous. That sword you have might not be sufficient. This reminder made Su Yining even more stubborn. "Mind your own business." Such a mule-headed person. Jiang Fan disregarded her and started swinging the iron sword, finding it increasingly handy. The only regret was, it was not a magic artifact. It couldn't produce unexpected thunder strike effects like his wooden sword. Once everyone had chosen their weapons and Qi Cultivation liquid, Yikingsu briefed them on the situation of the remnants. "According to our latest intelligence, though this group of remnants escaped the Green Cloud Sect siege, their escape was hasty, and they lacked various resources. So, it's likely they have infiltrated Lonely Boat City to seize resources." Upon hearing this, everyone became instantly alert. The Bloodbat Palace remnants had infiltrated Lonely Boat City. Yikingsu continued, "Don't panic. Those who infiltrated should be protectors and members only. The subalter master probably wouldn't dare to take such a risk." Only then did everyone relax a bit. Facing protectors at the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation, they would stand a chance in a fight. But if it were the subalter master at the 2nd layer of Foundation establishment, they would be walking into a death trap. After Yikingsu briefly analyzed the latest intelligence, she dismissed them. "Just stay alert to alarms in the city." But before she finished speaking, from the south of the city, a flare erupted into the sky with a sharp whistle, exploding into a mass of dark red smoke that lingered above. Yikingsu was stunned. The shadow guards were also stunned. For a moment they wondered if it was a coincidence. They had just assembled and the traces of the Bloodbat Palace appeared. Jiang Fan was the first to react, grabbing his iron sword and dashing out of the side yard like a whirlwind. Su Yining was quick to follow, grabbing her green sword and chasing after him. But just after exiting the yard, Jiang Fan was nowhere to be seen. This fueled her determination to compete. Whose superior will be revealed on the battlefield? The other shadow guards soon snapped out of it. This was no joke. It was indeed the appearance of the Bloodbat Palace remnants. So they all headed towards the smoke. Yikingsu didn't dare to delay and quickly followed suit. Jiang Fan darted across the rooftop swiftly, moving like a gust of wind. Within half an incense's time, he crossed half the city and reached the source of the smoke. Standing on the rooftop ridge, he looked down. This place was where the city lord's mansion forged weapons for officials. Several government cavalrymen lay dead on the ground. It was they who sent out the warning signal before their demise. Several members of the Bloodbat Palace were hurriedly moving various weapons and crafting materials. Jiang Fan recognized one of the Bloodbat Palace members. He was one of the 3 who had previously tried to abduct Su Yoren in Lionian Mountain. "Who's there?" One Bloodbat Palace member, with a keen sense, suddenly looked up and shouted. He was around 60, with a hooked nose and sharp eyes, looking extraordinary. At his shout, the other 4 Bloodbat Palace members also noticed Jiang Fan, including the one who escaped from Jiang Fan before, who recognized him. "That's the kid who killed our 2 men." Without further words, he and the 3 other members immediately climbed onto the rooftop. The 2 sides wasted no words and started fighting right away. Jiang Fan didn't hesitate. Before they could steady themselves, he struck first. With a sweep of his black sword, he slashed the neck of the previously escaped member, causing blood to spray as he fell from the rooftop. But as soon as he landed the blow, Jiang Fan felt a tinge of danger. One of the remaining 3 members turned out to be a protector at the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation. With seasoned experience, he used the moment Jiang Fan finished his strike to thrust a short blade toward his ribs. Fortunately, Jiang Fan had just trained in movement techniques. Stomping the ground, he flipped backward, evading the blade that grazed his scalp. The other 2 members, both at the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation, attacked with great precision. They slashed at Jiang Fan from the front and back, aiming to cut him while in midair. Jiang Fan felt immense pressure. Despite being at the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation, these Blood Bat Palace members were far more formidable than the projections from the Dragon Rising path. Every move was lethal, and their combat skills were highly proficient. He dared not hold back any longer. He twisted his wrist. Immediately, he performed a lonely star points. The black iron sword drew a circular arc of sword chi in midair, dispelling the 2 broadswords. The crisis was temporarily averted. However, his attack did not stop at all. Before his feet hit the ground, he locked onto a Qi Cultivation 8th layer member, and a 3 stars illuminating the moon slashed toward him. The latter was greatly shocked and quickly raised his broadsword with both arms, using the back of it to block the sword. Screech! The 2 metals collided, creating sparks. But he clearly underestimated Jiang Fan's realm and his swordsmanship even more. Crack! After a brief standoff, the opponent's broadsword was split in 2. The black iron sword slashed into his scapula, causing him to cry out in pain. Zhao Ming, the protector wielding a short sword, yelled fiercely and stabbed at Jiang Fan's back. Jiang Fan grasped the sword hilt with both hands and slashed fiercely. The black iron sword slashed down along the scapula, cutting off half of his torso. He couldn't afford to be concerned about the result of the fight. Using the momentum of this slash, he turned and met the short sword attack of the protector head-on. In a clash of weapons, the brave wins. At this critical moment, Jiang Fan shouted lowly, 7 stars to the north. He infused all his Qi Cultivation 9th layer spiritual power into the black iron sword for his strongest attack. The powerful sword Qi instantly numbed the arch, causing the short sword in the protector's hand to fall out. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Jiang Fan swept the sword horizontally. The protector was greatly alarmed and quickly retracted his hand, but it was too late. This astounding slash directly severed his fingers and, following through, cut a long wound across his chest. This, impossible. The protector looked down at the bloodline on his chest in disbelief and slowly collapsed to the ground. Guardian Qiu, the only remaining Qi Cultivation 8th layer member, instead of being afraid, became more aggressive. Holding a broadsword, he charged forward with a desperate determination. At this moment, Su Yining finally arrived. Seeing the 2 bodies on the rooftop and 1 on the ground, she was shocked. In just a short time, Jiang Fan had killed 3 people. She quickly scanned the area. She found an over 60-year-old remaining member of the Blood Bat Palace, hurriedly moving weapons, and with a sharp gaze, rushed over with her green sword. Blood Bat Palace remnant, prepare to die? Seeing this, Jiang Fan, who was entangled in a fight, changed his expression and shouted, "Be careful! He is not just an ordinary remnant." Even though it was just a glance, he could feel the pressure from this elder was no less than that from the short sword protector. Su Yining, however, paid no heed. Having lost the advantage to Jiang Fan, who had claimed 3 heads, she was already at a disadvantage. If she couldn't even kill this one, how could she save face? Ah! Su Yining let out a low shout, her body straightened, and she thrust her sword at the elder. Only then did the elder notice. He had only gone inside briefly, but his men had been slaughtered almost completely. This enraged him. Seeing Su Yining attacking him, he was filled with fury and roared, "Courting death!" His body trembled, and terrifying spiritual power surged out from his body. Su Yining's sword had not yet reached, but it was repelled by the oncoming spiritual power. "Foundation Establishment Realm!" Su Yining exclaimed in horror, immediately realizing who he was in front of, and shrieked, "Blood Bat Palace Subalter Master!" He was audacious enough to sneak into Lonely Boat City. "You brats dare to slaughter the elite of my Blood Bat Palace!" The Subalter Master was furious. He roared and charged toward Su Yining in great strides. On the rooftop, Jiang Fan's expression changed drastically. With Su Yining's strength, she might be killed in one confrontation. He was anxious and glanced at the Qi Cultivation 8th layer member who was posturing and continuing his offensive. Suddenly, he used a movement technique to widen the distance between them. Then he decisively used 7 stars to the north. A sharp sword light swept across the man's throat. Without even looking at the result, Jiang Fan immediately leaped down the several Shanghai wall. The subalter master had already closed in on Su Yining. Su Yining's heart pounded, and an overwhelming sense of suffocation enveloped her in despair. She swung her sword with all her strength, trying to force him back. But her swordsmanship could not even penetrate his external spiritual power. "Die!" the subalter master roared, turning his hand into a claw and tearing toward her throat. This claw was fast and vicious. It could snap Su Yining's neck. Su Yining's face turned pale, and she was so terrified that she couldn't breathe, as if she already felt the cold shadow of death over her. She instinctively closed her eyes. Ding, but the expected pain did not come. Instead, there was a sound of a collision. When she opened her eyes, she saw that it was Jiang Fan standing in front of her, blocking the attack with the black iron sword. "Retreat quickly," Jiang Fan shouted lowly. Facing the power of the Foundation Establishment's second layer, Jiang Fan felt an immense pressure. Su Yining was stunned, then quickly reacted and retreated. "None of you will escape," the subalter master roared. With a fierce squeeze, his flesh and blood claw caused the black iron sword to crack. Jiang Fan's face changed drastically, but he quickly had an idea. Instead of retreating, he poured more of his strong spiritual power into the black iron sword, pushing with all his might. The consequence was that the black iron sword could not withstand the pressure from both sides. Finally, crack, amidst a violent shattering sound, the sword body of the black iron sword broke into countless fragments, scattering toward both sides. A sharp fragment struck Jiang Fan's face. However, the material of his metal mask was extraordinary, leaving only a mark. But the subalter master was not as lucky. A thumb-sized fragment struck him in the forehead, embedding deeply. "Hiss!" the subalter master let out a painful hiss. However, this could not cause him substantial harm. Jiang Fan decisively waved his sleeve, causing all the fragments suspended in midair to shoot toward the close subalter master. "You dare, ah!" Most of the fragments missed, but one nail-sized metal fragment pierced his right eye. Blood gushed from his right eye immediately. "My eye!" the subalter master roared in fury. With his remaining eye, he glared venomously at Jiang Fan, leaping toward him. Jiang Fan was highly alert. He did not dare to confront the berserk subalter master head-on. He immediately performed a movement technique to retreat. The subalter master, filled with killing intent, pursued him, at a speed not much slower than Jiang Fan's. The most troublesome part was that before long, Jiang Fan saw the injured Su Yining, unable to run far. Cursing inwardly, he embraced her slender waist from behind, taking her along as he ran. Su Yining turned her head in surprise and saw that no one shadow guard was holding her close, their body heat palpable even through clothes. Her pretty face blushed quickly. Turning back, she saw the blood-covered, blinded subalter master and was even more shocked. No one shadow guard had blinded the subalter master? Su Yining gasped in surprise. How strong was this man? Having experienced the subalter master firsthand, she knew his strength. In his presence, she was like a lamb to the slaughter, yet this man had injured him and escaped. Thinking of how she had always been unwilling to accept his position as no one shadow guard and constantly provoked him, she felt embarrassed. Their chase did not last long. Qingsu arrived with other shadow guards and the city lord mansion's cavalry to support them. The subalter master, seeing this, could only resentfully jump into an alley. Before leaving, he glared fiercely at Jiang Fan with his remaining eye. "I remember you! Remember you!" He eyed Jiang Fan's mask resentfully and disappeared into the alley. Qingsu approached, seeing Su Yining being held in Jiang Fan's arms. She had a peculiar expression on her face. If Su Yining knew that no one shadow guard was Jiang Fan, she wondered how she would react. She cleared her throat and asked, "Was the one who just fled a member of the Blood Bat Palace? How come the two of you ended up being chased by him?" Qingsu's scrutinizing gaze scanned them. Some ordinary members shouldn't have been handled so badly, right? If they were really that weak, Qingsu worried that the shadow guards she created would become a joke. Su Yining then realized that she was still clinging to the no-one shadow guard. Her cheeks instantly turned crimson. She hurriedly jumped down and explained, "The one who was running away earlier was not an ordinary member." "Oh." Qingsu was taken aback. "Could it be a protector? No wonder you were forced to flee. It's a blessing you all are safe." The shadow guards who had chased after also showed expressions of surprise. A protector's strength is at least at the 9th layer of Qi cultivation, and they are experienced in combat, very fierce. For both No 1 and No 2 shadow guards to return unscathed and even injure the opponent, it's truly remarkable. If it were us, facing a protector, we probably wouldn't even have the chance to escape, let alone injure them. Listening to their misconceptions, Su Yining showed a strange expression and said, "Who said the one running away was a protector? No 1 shadow guard had already slain 1 protector and 3 other members." What? Yikingsu's eyes widened in shock. No 1 shadow guard, you actually killed a protector and 3 other members. Wait, she quickly realized the key point. With a look of shock, she said, "Then the one who was chasing you just now was." If Jiang Fan could easily slay a protector, how could he be chased by one? The person capable of chasing them could only be. It was the subalter master, Su Yining said with lingering fear. Recalling the invincible swordsmanship and foundation establishment spiritual pressure of the opponent, she felt suffocated. The subalter master? Yikingsu's voice trembled. Such an existence was far beyond what the Shadow Guard team she formed could handle. Her original intention was just to clear out some ordinary remnants and ease her father, the city lord's, burden. The subalter master should be left to her father and other experts to deal with. But No 1 shadow guard had confronted the subalter master head-on and blinded his right eye, then returned unscathed. She had always thought that listing Jiang Fan as No 1 shadow guard was overestimating him. Only now she realized she had underestimated his true strength. The shadow guards were also wide-eyed with shock, gazing at the invincible figure of the mysterious No 1 shadow guard. They couldn't help but tremble. Those who had harbored any defiance towards him now felt only reverence. Yikingsu was secretly thrilled. Bringing Jiang Fan into the Shadow Guard team was indeed an extremely wise decision. "Let's go, we'll check out the remnants' bodies." Soon, 4 corpses were brought before everyone. Seeing the fatal wounds inflicted with a single strike, the group couldn't help but gasp, especially the remnant at the 8th layer of Qi cultivation, who was cleaved into 2 pieces at the chest. Their understanding of Jiang Fan's strength was once again renewed. "I know this person, he is the right protector of the subalter, named Iron Eagle, the closest confidant of the subalter master." Suddenly, a shadow guard recognized him and exclaimed. His strength was second only to the subalter master. He specialized in a short blade and had killed several 8th layer of Qi cultivation experts in Lonely Boat City, extremely fierce. Unexpectedly, he was slain by No 1 shadow guard's blade. A few others checked and exclaimed one after another. And those 2 remnants at the 8th layer of Qi cultivation, they were also top-notch fighters just below the protectors, infamous. Oh, they were all killed by No 1 shadow guard. And judging by the battle traces, the 4 of them were besieging No 1 shadow guard, yet were killed in return. This discovery left them again in astonishment. To face the subalter's strongest protector and 2 infamous remnants in a siege, yet kill them all in return. Despite having 9th layer of Qi cultivation strength, why did it feel like foundation establishment powerfulness? Yikingsu was overjoyed, grabbing Jiang Fan's shoulders. "Let's go. I'll take you to the City Lord Mansion right now. I want Father to see how impressive my Shadow Guard team is." "Others carry the corpses back to the City Lord Mansion," Su Yining said. "I'll stay out of it." She took a deep look at No 1 shadow guard and solemnly said, "This time you win. When I break through to foundation establishment, we will compete again." After saying that, she quickly ran off. The Chen family's auction for the Pifu pill was about to begin. No matter what, she had to get it, to break through to the foundation establishment realm in one go. Otherwise, she wasn't even fit to compare with No 1 shadow guard. City Lord Mansion. What? Kingsu formed a shadow guard team specifically to eradicate the remnants of Bloodbat Palace. Listening to the butler's report, Yi Jiafeng burst into rage. Isn't this nonsense? Those remnants who escaped the Green Cloud Sect's roundup, which one of them isn't an exceedingly fierce expert. Sending a group of youngsters with no combat experience to deal with them is courting death. Bring her back immediately. At this moment, Yikingsu came running in joyfully, bringing Jiang Fan with her. "Father, good news, good news." Yi Jiafeng was just looking for her. He immediately began scolding her. "Nonsense. Who allowed you to form some shadow guard team? Disband it immediately." Noticing Jiang Fan beside her with the mask bearing the number 1, he felt it even more absurd. "Right away, now. Go," Yikingsu pouted and said. "Don't underestimate my shadow guard team, they're quite impressive." Yi Jiafeng huffed. "A bunch of youngsters who haven't even grown up yet, how impressive can they be?" "Have them all go back." Stay with their families and seriously cultivate. That's the proper thing to do. The task of eradicating Blood Bat Palace isn't something that a group of kids should worry about. Underestimating my shadow guard team. Yikingsu chuckled secretly and clapped her hands. Bring them in. So the 4 corpses were brought before Yi Jiefeng. He recognized them immediately. His face changed dramatically. The subalter's right protector, Iron Eagle. The Black Blade brothers, Chen Ju and Chen Leng. Not only did he recognize the protector, but he also recognized the 2 remnants at the 8th layer of Qi Cultivation. They were infamous experts of Blood Bat Palace. Government experts had suffered considerable losses at their hands. To cope with them, Yi Jiefeng had deployed many experts, always on guard. Who would have thought? They were dead. Kingsu, did you do this? Yi Jiefeng couldn't believe it. Yikingsu crossed her arms, her chin lifted proudly. It was my shadow guard team. But since you don't think much of them, father, I'll just obediently follow your order and disband the shadow guard team. Saying this, she waved her hand to disband Jiang Fan and the others. Wait a minute. Yi Jiefeng panicked, looking at the shadow guards again with deep appreciation. Young talents, truly young talents. As the city lord, I apologize for my previous disrespect to you young heroes. Someone prepare a feast, bring out the city lord's best wine. Tonight, I must properly reward them. Yikingsu looked smug. The shadow guards also felt exceptionally honored. They exchanged glances and revealed the truth. To report to the city lord, we are ashamed. These 4 were actually slain by no one shadow guard alone. Alone, Yi Jiefeng couldn't help but look at the no one shadow guard. To be honest, he still had some doubts that the 4 remnants of the Blood Bat Palace were killed by them. After all, he knew well how powerful the Iron Eagle Guardian and the Black Blade brothers were. And the so-called Shadow Guard team was nothing more than a group of inexperienced young prodigies. In terms of strength and experience, they were far inferior to the savage remnants of the Blood Bat Palace. However, for his daughter's sake, he didn't want to point it out on the spot. Upon hearing that all the enemies were killed by one person, his suspicion turned into absurdity. Saying that it was the collective work of the Shadow Guards, he could pretend to believe. But to attribute all the credit to one person was too ridiculous. This farce needed to stop. His eyes flashed. Suddenly, he used his finger as a sword, sweeping towards Jiang Fan's chest. Jiang Fan reflexively used his movement technique, narrowly avoiding the sweep. Yi Jiefeng's nail almost brushed against Jiang Fan's coat. He was slightly surprised and said, You actually avoided my strike? As soon as he finished speaking, he followed up with a palm strike. Jiang Fan felt an overwhelming pressure, as if facing the subalter master again. He didn't dare to be careless and immediately grabbed an iron sword from a shadow guard, directly using the 7 stars to the north. The powerful sword move broke through the palm strike in an instant, bypassing the 5 fingers and aiming straight for Yi Jiefeng's face. The sudden sword made Yi Jiefeng startled. He quickly withdrew his palm and took several steps back. The hall instantly fell silent. The no one shadow guard actually forced the top expert of Lonely Boat City to retreat. Yikingsu and the shadow guards were in a daze. Even though they knew from the No 2 shadow guard that the subalter master was injured by Jiang Fan, seeing it with their own eyes was a different matter. Yi Jiefeng looked at his finger, which was cut by the sword Qi, then looked at the no one shadow guard, his eyes filled with surprise. Who are you? When did my Lonely Boat City have such a prodigy? He gazed at the no one shadow guard's mask, extremely eager to know who was behind it. Yikingsu reacted and quickly stood in front of Jiang Fan, saying, Dad, I promised the shadow guards that I would not reveal their identities. You are also not allowed to privately investigate their true faces. Yi Jiefeng felt an itch in his heart. But if he forcibly removed the no one shadow guard's mask, it would anger his daughter and offend this mysterious prodigy. All right. Yi Jiefeng gave up, but the astonishment in his eyes did not fade away. Just from that move alone, it was clear that these remnants of the Blood Bat Palace were indeed killed by the no one shadow guard. Truly, the waves behind the Yangtze River push the waves ahead, he praised without hesitation. Your future achievements will far surpass mine. Jiang Fan said, the city lord is too kind. Yikingsu was full of pride. Today, the no one shadow guard had really earned her a great deal of face. Dad, I promised the shadow guards that if they made great contributions, they could choose any book from our City Lord Mansion's book collection pavilion. The no one shadow guard has made such a huge contribution. Can he go and choose? Upon hearing this, Yi Jiefeng frowned slightly. The The books in the City Lord Mansion's collection are not ordinary. Some of them are passed down from the green Cloud Sect. Just a few remnants of the Blood Bat Palace might not be enough. Not enough. Jiang Fan couldn't help feeling disappointed. He was hoping to find some treasures in the City Lord Mansion. Who said it was just those remnants? Yi Qingsu smiled mysteriously and said, "The No-One Shadow Guard even encountered the Subalter Master." What? Yi Jiafeng was moved again, his face filled with even more admiration. "Impressive, truly impressive. You managed to escape unscathed from the Subalter Master. I once fought him. His spiritual power is even stronger than mine." "You actually escaped from him," Yi Qingsu quipped. "Not only did the No-One Shadow Guard come out unscathed, he even blinded one of the Subalter Master's eyes, greatly reducing his combat power." "What?" Yi Jiafeng was genuinely shocked. "Is this true?" If it was true, the threat of the Subalter Master would be greatly diminished. Yi Qingsu said, "I witnessed it myself, and so did the Shadow Guards." Learning it was true, Yi Jiafeng was overjoyed, patting Jiang Fan's shoulder and said, "Well done. Well done. You have made a great contribution. Qingsu, take him to the book collection pavilion of the City Lord Mansion. Let him choose any book he wants." The other Shadow Guards looked extremely envious. The book collection pavilion of the City Lord Mansion was such a treasure trove. In their envious gazes, Yi Qingsu took the No-One Shadow Guard to the book collection pavilion. The book collection pavilion of the City Lord Mansion was underground. There were 3 large doors from top to bottom, each layer filled with countless hidden guards and mechanisms. Even the Blood Bat Palace had a hard time breaking in. In the book collection pavilion, looking at the books tightly sealed in crystal treasure boxes, Jiang Fan eagerly examined each one. Almost all of them were cultivation techniques, and there were also mental methods that were highly sought after outside. However, they were all yellow-level cultivation techniques. For Jiang Fan, they were no longer useful. At this moment, he noticed a book sealed in a purple crystal hanging high from the ceiling. "Is there a cultivation technique inside this too?" Jiang Fan asked in surprise. Yi Qingsu shook her head. "No, it's the medical book of the world's best divine doctor, the Undying Doctor." "What?" Jiang Fan's eyes widened. "Are you sure?" The Undying Doctor. He was the most skilled in medical skills within the entire Heavenly Mechanism Pavilion territory. He treated countless patients in his life, and no one ever died in his hands, hence the name Undying Doctor. Someone of such stature, his medical book would be in a small, lonely boat city. "I know what you're thinking. I was even more shocked when I first found out." Yi Qingsu smiled bitterly as she took down the hanging crystal box and said, "This was arranged by the Undying Doctor. He made hundreds of copies of his medical book, placing them in every city. The purpose was to one day find a fated person to inherit his medical skills." Jiang Fan was incredulous. "Does the Undying Doctor lack heirs?" With his supreme medical skills, countless people would eagerly inherit his knowledge. "You'll understand after you look at it." Yi Qingsu sighed. She opened the crystal box and handed the book named Undying Medical Book to Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan took it and eagerly opened it and was stunned. The pages were filled with densely packed needle holes, disordered and without any pattern. It looked like a child's prank. "Is this the Undying Doctor's inheritance?" Jiang Fan's forehead furrowed with a big question mark. Yi Qingsu sighed. "So you can see why it's been kept here unused. If it wasn't arranged by the Undying Doctor, we would have thrown it away long ago." Jiang Fan's head felt heavy. Was the Undying Doctor playing a prank on everyone? As he thought this, a clear feeling suddenly surged into his mind. The needle holes on the page began to wriggle strangely in his perspective. "Young Master Jiang, why don't you choose another one? There is actually a yellow-level mid-grade mental method here," Yi Qingsu suggested thoughtfully. Jiang Fan came to his senses, holding the Undying Medical Book, and said, "I just want this one." "Ah." Yi Qingsu looked astonished. "Why do you want this? No one can fully comprehend it." Suppressing his excitement, Jiang Fan said, "I would like to give it a try. Could you provide me with a quiet chamber? I want to read it in peace." Seeing that Jiang Fan was not joking, Yi Qingsu could only let out a long sigh. "All right, it's such a pity to waste such a great opportunity on a useless medical book." Not long after, Jiang Fan entered Yi Qingsu's specially used cultivation chamber. He immediately opened the book and began to reread it. As the clear, pure feeling emerged in his mind again, the pinholes on the pages began to twist again. As the pinholes moved, they gradually formed a diagram of a human body's meridians. Each pinhole represented a special acupuncture point on the human body. Flipping to the second page, the pinholes also started to twist, forming a figure holding a silver needle. On the third page, the pinholes twisted as well. On the fourth page, when Jiang Fan had finished reading all the pages, it was already dark outside. He had concentrated on reading the entire day, and the reward was immense. From the changing arrangement of the pinholes, he had learned astonishingly miraculous medical skills. This was indeed the inheritance of the undying doctor. However, it required an extremely high level of comprehension to learn it. Massaging his sore eyes, Jiang Fan left the chamber, only to see the mansion in a state of chaos, with many patrolling guards rushing toward the main hall. Did something happen? Jiang Fan stopped a guard and asked, "Did remnants of the Blood Bat Palace appear?" The guard, seeing it was the no. One shadow guard immediately stood respectfully and said, "Reporting to you, sir, it's not the remnants of the Blood Bat Palace. The head of the Chen family, Zhang Yuxiu, has passed away due to his illness. The city lord and the eldest miss are preparing to visit to confirm and are summoning the accompanying guards." The Chen family. Chen Silin's father? Jiang Fan then realized why Chen Silin, as a woman, had been taking charge of the situation. It turned out her father had been critically ill for a long time. Thinking of his connection with Chen Silin, Jiang Fan sighed silently. "I should go and take a look too." Soon after, Yi Jiafeng led the way. Yi Qingsu and Jiang Fan walked side by side behind him. "What was the Chen family master's illness?" Jiang Fan asked. Yi Qingsu sighed lightly. "He was injured by an enemy, causing his heart meridian to break, and has been relying on heavenly materials and earthly treasures to sustain his life all these years. With his passing, the Chen family will likely struggle greatly in the future. If that enemy learns of his death, they probably won't spare his wife and daughter. The great enmity and gratitude of the world are inherently cruel. The martial world is especially brutal. If one does not eradicate their enemies today, tomorrow their own family might be destroyed. The Chen family master had not died, perhaps making the enemy a bit cautious. Now that he was gone, they certainly would not let his family off." Jiang Fan heard this and silently sighed. He couldn't help but feel sorry for Chen Silin, a clever and beautiful young lady. While he was in Lonely Boat City, perhaps he could help her, but once he left, it would all depend on her fate. Soon after, the Chen family. The entrance was already hung with white lanterns and decorated with couplets. In the central courtyard was a black lacquered coffin. Inside lay a middle-aged man with a square face, bleeding from his orifices, and with blackened skin, who was Zhang Yuxiu. Chen Silin, dressed in mourning clothes, knelt before the coffin, her eyes full of tears. Her slender body appeared particularly mournful in the sorrowful atmosphere. Besides her, several prominent families were also present. The Chen family was a notable family in Lonely Boat City. They naturally had many connections with high society families. The Zhu family was among them. Zhu Jianshan, representing the Zhu family, knelt before the coffin and feigned sorrow as he said, "Uncle Chen, you died unjustly. If I had known earlier that it was a heart meridian injury, I would have said anything to go back to the green Cloud Sect and bring the golden silkworm life-extending pill to treat you." Hearing this, the Chen family matriarch Liu Qimin supported him with tears and said, "You have that intention, your Uncle Chen will be satisfied in the afterlife." Jiang Fan, however, shook his head slightly. The golden silkworm life-extending pill was an exclusive prescription of the undying doctor. Since his death, the pill had long been lost, and the green Cloud Sect did not have it. Zhu Jianshan was full of lies to gain the Chen family's favor. "Let's also pay our respects." Yi Jiafeng led Yi Qingsu forward and bowed to the deceased. After paying their respects, he said, "Stay and talk with Miss Chen for a while. I'll go back first." After he left, Jiang Fan also knelt and paid his respects, then looked at the tearful Chen Silin and said, "My condolences." Chen Silin was stunned. She felt the voice was very familiar. But at this moment, she was immersed in grief and couldn't care to think further, merely nodded in response. Jiang Fan sighed silently and was about to stand up. Suddenly, his ears moved, and he looked at the coffin with a hint of surprise. He actually heard some pulse signs. Pulse signs meant someone was alive. Could Zhang Yuxiu still be alive? He couldn't help but ask, "Are you sure the Chen family master's heart meridian is completely gone?" The abrupt question made the Chen family's members feel a bit offended. Liu Qimin questioned, "Young sir, what do you mean by this?" Listening to the weak, hair-thin pulse that could stop at any moment, Jiang Fan had no time to explain. He stepped to the body and reached for its pulse, saying, "Let me confirm. Impudent, no disrespect. Stop him." The members of the Chen family shouted angrily and tried to stop Jiang Fan. An elderly man with a white beard even swung a hoe at the back of Jiang Fan's head. Jiang Fan had no choice but to evade. Liu Qimin's eyes widened with anger. "Does our Chen family have a grudge against you? Why are you being disrespectful to my husband's body?" Yi Qingsu's expression changed slightly, and she hurriedly stepped forward. "Mrs. Chen, please calm down. Chen family's clansmen, please calm down. This is my no. One shadow guard, he means no harm." The white-bearded elder stroked his beard and snorted. "If he means no harm, why is he being disrespectful to our honored family head?" Yi Qingsu didn't understand why Jiang Fan was acting so recklessly. Since it concerned a person's life, and that of Chen Silin's father, Jiang Fan quickly said, "To be honest, I know a bit about medical skills. Just now I sensed a thin pulse from the Chen family master. Maybe he is still alive." "What?" Chen Silin stood up excitedly, wiping away her tears. "Are you telling the truth?" Zhu Jianshan frowned slightly. "Who is this guy stealing my thunder?" He said gently, "Siling, how can you believe an outsider's nonsense over your own family's esteemed doctors?" The white-bearded elder also glared at Jiang Fan. "Boy, what are you implying? Do you mean to say that I, Chen Wuji, the first divine doctor of Lonely Boat City, cannot tell if a person is dead or alive?" The white-bearded elder of the Chen family, Chen Wuji, was a well-known divine doctor. With his medical skills, it was unlikely he could mistake a dead person for a living one. Chen Silin came to her senses, her face filled with grief again, and she knelt down before the coffin. Jiang Fan, anxious, wanted to say more, but Chen Wuji scolded, "Take this troublemaker away." Yi Qingsu could no longer speak up for Jiang Fan. She chided somewhat, "You must be exhausted, go take a rest." Jiang Fan felt helpless. Clearly, Chen Yuxiu was still alive, yet he was powerless to help. At this moment, a loud, crazed laugh came from outside. "Chen family, it's time to repay the debt you owe." At the most sorrowful moment for the Chen family, someone came to collect a debt. Only an enemy could do such a thing. Everyone followed the sound to its source. A burly man with a face full of jowls, clad in black robes with cultivation at Foundation Establishment First Layer, walked into the morning hall with a sneer. Seeing the censer placed in front of the coffin, he kicked it over. "A dishonorable person also deserves incense." Chen Silin was caught off guard. Instantly, her furious eyes spit fire as she yelled, "Black-faced tiger, you're bullying us too much." Back then, her father was gravely injured by this man. Now, with his corpse not even cold, he came to insult his mourning hall, truly believing that the Chen family had no backbone. Zhu Jianshan wanted to play the hero, rescuing the beauty, and stepped forward with a snort. "Black-faced tiger, get out of here immediately. This is not a place for you to act wildly." He thought Black-faced tiger would be wary because he was a disciple of the Green Cloud Sect. Unexpectedly, Black-faced tiger glanced at him contemptuously and said, "Paying back debts is only right and proper. Even if the Green Cloud Sect master came, this money would still have to be paid. Young Master Zhu, if you want to play the hero, why don't you pay off the Chen family's debt for them?" Black-faced tiger was the underground emperor of Lonely Boat City. Specializing in unsavory dealings, he was a local tyrant and didn't fear a returning disciple from the Green Cloud Sect at all. Zhu Jianshan gritted his teeth and said, "How much money? I'll pay for Sister Silin." A few tens of thousands of taels he could still manage. Black-faced tiger sneered playfully, "Not much, not much. It's just 5 million taels, small change for you." 5 million. Zhu Jianshan took a deep breath inwardly. Unless he sold all the Zhu family assets, it was impossible to raise that much money. Black-faced tiger laughed coldly. "Got money? If not, step aside. You have no place to play the hero here." Zhu Jianshan's face alternated between blue and red. He wanted to get angry but had no outlet for it. He could only snort in silence and retreat to the side. After all, such a huge debt was impossible for him to manage. He believed no one could solve this immense debt for the Chen family. Yi Qingsu also showed discomfort. Although she was the daughter of the city lord, she couldn't interfere with someone collecting debts. All she could do was blame the Chen family's excessive debt, which made her powerless to help even if she wanted to. "You're lying," Chen Silin shouted with tears. 3 years ago, my father clearly only borrowed 1 million from you. After repaying you 1 million, you took the money and still ambushed my father, severely injuring him. Now my father is dead, and you come asking for 5 million. The Chen family couldn't possibly come up with 5 million. Even if they could, they wouldn't allow him to extort their family property wantonly. Black-faced tiger smirked insidiously. "Your father repaid the money? Where's the receipt?" Chen Silin retorted angrily. My father was injured by you. He has been unconscious since. If there was a receipt, we would have had it long ago. Upon hearing this, black-faced Tiger's eyes darkened, and he raised his hand to slap her. No receipt, then what nonsense are you talking about? Just as his slap was about to land on Chen Silin's face, a sharp sword shot past her ear, stabbing from an astute angle, frightening black-faced Tiger to quickly withdraw his hand and retreat several steps. He looked at his palm, seeing the skin cut by the keen sword Qi, and couldn't help but feel alarmed. Just the sword Qi almost ruined his hand. When did the Chen family have such a formidable person? Looking up, a man wearing a unique mask with a 1 engraved on it walked slowly from behind Chen Silin. Touch her again and I'll cripple you, Jiang Fan said coldly, pointing the sword at him. Black-faced Tiger showed some fear. Dare to report your name? In his line of work, he feared no prominent families, because prominent families have elders and children. If they dared to attack Black-faced Tiger, he could retaliate against their family. He feared people like the masked man in front of him the most. Mysterious identity, powerful strength. If harmed, Black-faced Tiger wouldn't even know where to seek revenge. Jiang Fan stood in front of Chen Silin and indifferently said 4 words, "No one shadow guard." What kind of name is that? Black-faced Tiger was infuriated, but he knew the other party was no naive person and probably wouldn't reveal his identity. He cupped his hands and slightly humbled himself. This young brother, I am merely here to collect a debt. Please don't interfere excessively. Jiang Fan frowned slightly. Paying back debts was only right. In a normal debt collection, he indeed shouldn't interfere excessively, but if it was malicious extortion, that was a different story. He turned his head to Chen Silin. Is what you said true? Chen Silin looked curiously at this no-one shadow guard, not understanding why he wanted to protect her, and she didn't know such a powerful peer. Yes, I can swear to it. Chen Silin nodded repeatedly. Black-faced Tiger snorted heavily. What good is a vow? I need tangible evidence. Your Chen family's IOU is here with accumulated interest. It's exactly 5 million in 3 years. If you have a receipt, bring it out now. Listening to the two and considering Chen Yuxiu's situation, Jiang Fan had a good idea in his heart. He squinted and observed Black-faced Tiger. Do you assume the dead can't testify? The reason why he chose this moment to come was that he wasn't sure if Chen Yuxiu had taken his last breath. Now, being completely dead, he dared to fish in troubled waters and extort money. Black-faced Tiger, unafraid of boiling water, dragged a stool, crossed his legs, and sat in the center of the morning hall. No matter what you say, I need to see 5 million taels of silver. Otherwise, Chen Yuxiu is not going to rest in peace. Seeing this, Jiang Fan became more certain of his judgment. He said flatly, I regret to inform you the Chen family master is not dead yet. Black-faced Tiger was startled, but after secretly checking Chen Yuxiu's face earlier, seeing it was a dead state, he felt reassured. Smiling sarcastically, he said, Oh, how impressive. Just moving your lips makes the dead come back to life. Jiang Fan ignored him. He turned to Chen Silin and said, Your father still has a faint pulse. If I intervene now, there's a chance to save him. Discuss with your clan members. If you agree, I will proceed immediately. If not, I can do nothing more. The righteous family members who were enraged moments ago were now all silent, because currently the only hope for saving the Chen family was the resurrection of the family master. Only the white-haired old clansman reputed as Chen Wuji once again shouldered his hoe and shouted, Audacious! As long as I'm here, you won't touch the family head. However, he was met with a scolding from Liu Qimin. Clan elder, do you intend to see our Chen family destroyed? Whether this young master is right or not, letting him attempt to treat is better than waiting for death. With that, she bowed lowly. Young master, please save my husband, save the Chen family. Chen Silin's eyes were even more reddened. Previously, she didn't trust no one shadow guard, but after the recent incident, she felt this no one shadow guard was protecting her. Could it be that her father really wasn't dead and could come back to life? With a thud, she knelt down. Young master, if you save my father, I will serve you like a horse or ox, bound to you for life. You're too kind. Jiang Fan helped her up and said, Since you all have no objections, I will start the treatment. He approached Chen Yuxiu's body, and following the medical skills in the Undying Medical Book, operated his energy to facilitate respiration for him. At the same time, he successively pressed various major acupoints to reactivate his nearly stagnant organs. After a stick of incense's time, he was already drenched in sweat, yet Chen Yuxiu showed no sign of returning to life. Black-faced Tiger relaxed, touched his head, and said, Enough with the trickery. The money, the Chen family must repay it. Chen Silin's eyes, full of hope initially, had now dulled. Her face was full of sorrow. She had been too foolish. To think she really believed the dead could return to life. Zhu Jianshan and Chen Wuji exchanged looks and both showed a hint of mockery. The Chen family members present were also deeply disappointed. However, suddenly a weak groan came from the coffin. "Black-faced tiger, if you dare, come down and get the money from me. Bullying the orphans and widows of the Chen family, what does that make of you?" In an instant, everyone in the hall was so scared that they shivered. Some timid ones even screamed, "Ah, a zombie!" The female members of the family were all pale with fright and ran outside in panic. The male members also showed signs of panic. The black-faced tiger was startled into a shiver, his fleshy face trembling uncontrollably. He stammered, "H haunted?" Only Chen Silin and Liu Qimin, mother and daughter, happily rushed to the coffin. Seeing Chen Yuxiu slowly open his eyes and actually come back to life, they exclaimed in joy, "Father! Husband!" Only then did everyone calm down. They crowd around, looking at Chen Yuxiu, who had really come back to life. All were shocked. The family head has really come back to life. This no-one shadow guard can actually bring the dead back to life. Divine doctor, truly a divine doctor. Yi Qingsu's pretty face was filled with shock. No one shadow guard turns out to be a divine doctor. Wait, could it be that he really learned something from the undying medical book? Impossible, no one can understand that medical book. But no matter what, the marvelous medical skills of the no-one shadow guard were genuine. She glanced at Zhu Jianshan. Her eyes showed a look of contemplation. With the help of everyone, Chen Yuxiu sat in the family head seat. He coldly stared at the black-faced tiger and said, "You want the receipt, right?" He opened his mouth and forcefully pulled out a false tooth. The tooth was hollow, with a tiny folded paper hidden inside. Unfolding it revealed a receipt signed by the black-faced tiger. "After I returned the 1,000,000 taels of silver to you, you personally wrote this receipt. You surely recognize it?" Chen Yuxiu shouted. The Chen family members were enlightened. No wonder they didn't find the receipt when they carried Chen Yuxiu back. It turned out he had foreseen the black-faced tiger's plot and had hidden the receipt in such a secret place. Seeing his scheme exposed, the black-faced tiger guiltily fled, afraid of being surrounded and unable to escape from the Chen family in his fury. Just when everyone thought the matter was over, Chen Yuxiu suddenly shouted, "Chen Wuji, get over here!" Everyone turned to look. The divine doctor, who the Chen family had always been proud of, was sneaking out amidst the crowd. Chen Yuxiu's eyes were filled with hatred. "I don't hate black-faced tiger for hurting me, that's my incompetence, I accept it. But you, eating and drinking from the Chen family, yet colluding with outsiders to harm me. You ungrateful traitor. Tie him up and beat him until he confesses who is behind it." "What?" The Chen family was shocked. It turned out that over the past 3 years, Chen Yuxiu's worsening condition was due to Chen Wuji. Several young family members pounced on him, pinning him to the ground and tying him up forcefully. Chen Wuji begged for mercy. "Family head, spare my life, I was forced into this." Bam! Chen Yuxiu slammed his hand on the table angrily. "Stop making excuses. You were forced. Then why did you go out of your way to prevent this young divine doctor from taking my pulse when he determined that I was still alive?" "What?" The Chen family remembered how Chen Wuji had previously obstructed Jiang Fan with a hoe, looking as if they were mortal enemies. And how, led by him, all the Chen family members wanted to drive Jiang Fan away. They were filled with anger and incredible guilt. If not for a stroke of luck, they would have become accomplices to the murder of their family head. Enraged family members picked up sticks and beat Chen Wuji to death. After a few strikes, Chen Wuji screamed in agony, spitting blood and dying. His back was struck by a dart, piercing his heart. Clearly, someone silenced him to prevent him from naming the mastermind. Amid the chaos, no one saw who did it. This made Chen Yuxiu furious and anxious, blood seeping from his mouth. Jiang Fan, helpless, said, "Chen family head, investigating the mastermind can wait. For now, you should recuperate." The Chen family dared not be negligent. They immediately carried Chen Yuxiu to his room. Jiang Fan took his pulse again and replaced him with a suitable prescription. Shortly after, with a bowl of medicine, Chen Yuxiu vomited several mouthfuls of black blood, instantly feeling much better. "Thank you, divine doctor, you have saved me and saved my Chen family." Chen Yuxiu struggled to get out of bed to kneel before Jiang Fan. Jiang Fan waved, "No need for such courtesy. Follow this prescription and take it continuously for a month. Most of your old injuries will heal. I have other matters to attend to, so I must take my leave." Upon hearing this, Chen Yuqiu hurriedly said, "Divine Doctor, hold on. Siling, quickly fetch 1,000,000 taels of silver for the Divine Doctor from the treasury." Chen Silin nodded without any hesitation. Compared to the life-saving grace of no one shadow guard, the grace of saving the family, 1,000,000 taels seemed more than worthy. Zhang Fan smiled slightly and said, "No need, I only acted because of your daughter. Money means nothing to me." Chen Silin was puzzled. She didn't even know this powerful peer with such miraculous skills. Chen Yuqiu's gaze involuntarily shifted to Chen Silin. After 3 years of unconsciousness, seeing her now, he could not deny that his daughter had grown into a beautiful young lady admired by all. Zhang Fan's intention was instantly clear to him. After a moment of pondering, he bit his lips slightly and said, "Siling, let this young master stay in the mansion for the night. Prepare dinner and entertain him well." Having managed the family's business for 3 years, how could Chen Silin not understand the implication? Images of Zhang Fan involuntarily surfaced in her mind. Looking at the masked man in front of her, she felt an intense resistance in her heart. If she gave herself to this masked man, she would no longer be worthy of Zhang Fan, not even as a concubine. "Go," Chen Yuqiu commanded painfully. As someone who had experienced the world, he clearly understood which debts in the world were hardest to repay. Debts of gratitude. The longer it dragged on, the harder it was to repay. He only hoped that this no-one shadow guard was a gentleman and would stop at admiration for his daughter without further action. But such men were extremely rare. Chen Silin bit her lip lightly. Her eyes filled with tears and turned into the kitchen. Zhang Fan was bewildered and couldn't understand the situation between the father and daughter. Why did Chen Silin cry over preparing dinner? Was his masked appearance that scary? Originally intending to decline the dinner, he felt a bit indignant. He wanted to see why Chen Silin was unhappy with him. "Fine, I'm looking forward to tonight's dinner," Zhang Fan huffed. Oh no, Chen Yuqiu's heart sank. His daughter might lose her innocence tonight. If no one shadow guard were a gentleman, he would certainly find an excuse to avoid it. But he did no such thing, not hiding his intentions at all. His daughter probably couldn't escape. He sighed heavily, feeling helpless. His family owed a great favor. In the kitchen, Chen Silin dismissed the head chef. "You leave, I'll cook personally." The head chef was stunned. "Miss, when did you learn to cook?" Chen Silin replied coldly. "I know a lot. Miss, that's too much salt, way too much. Why are you pouring the whole jar?" "I want to salt him to death." "No, miss, that plate of beef isn't fully cooked." "I want him to taste the raw meat." "Isn't he interested in me?" "Whatever he likes, I'm changing." When the moon rose over the willow branches under the pear-blossom tree, several black, burnt dishes were placed in front of him. Zhang Fan was stunned. "What is this, charred herbs?" Zhang Fan asked in surprise. Chen Silin sat opposite him. Different from the usual times, the dignified and graceful demeanor of a noblewoman, she deliberately wore a greasy apron. The normally fair and tender palms of her hands were full of unwashed grease stains. Even her previously stunning face was intentionally disheveled, with messy hair and her face covered in grease and smoke. She looked exactly like a maid doing hard labor. "You must be joking, young master. This is a dish I personally cooked." Chen Silin forced a smile, trying to make herself seem unpleasant. "Though it may look unappealing, it's actually quite delicious. Why not give it a try?" "No way." Zhang Fan looked at the table full of dishes with an expression of speechlessness and sighed. "I have to say you really have no talent for cooking. Even kids are probably better than you." He thought Chen Silin would be upset. Unexpectedly, she looked secretly pleased and thought to herself, Yes, I can't cook at all. Quickly learn to hate me." She concealed her unusual expression and said seriously, "I tried very hard." Zhang Fan didn't intend to make things difficult for her over the food. He was just curious about why she had been crying so aggrievedly earlier. "Miss Chen, did I offend you at the hall?" After thinking about it, he concluded he might have inadvertently offended her. Chen Silin was momentarily stunned. In the morning hall, Zhang Fan saved her first, then saved her father, and then saved the entire Chen family. She couldn't even thank him enough. When did he ever offend her? She hurriedly waved her hand, wanting to explain, but then thought, why explain? What she needed to do now was make him dislike her. So she crossed her arms in front of her chest and raised her chin without saying a word. Her right foot kept tapping against the floor. Stomping her feet in silent anger let him guess. Zhang Fan waited for a long time and saw this posture, rolling his eyes involuntarily. Who wants to guess? This woman is really hard to please? Fine if you don't want to say it. Zhang Fan pulled a long face, wanting to leave, but then he felt indignant. Why? He had helped the Chen family so much, yet he still had to put up with this. He threw down his chopsticks and said coldly, "My shoulders are sore, give me a massage." Today, he would regain his dignity no matter what. Chen Silin secretly despised him. See, there it is, the fox's tail is showing. He hasn't even eaten yet, and he wants me to give him a massage. Everyone knows his ulterior motives. Seeing her sitting as steadily as Mount Tai, Zhang Fan chuckled and said, "Your father expressly told you to take good care of me. If you find massaging my shoulders so difficult, then don't blame me for tattling to your father." This bastard. He was truly despicable. She bit her lip and reluctantly came behind Zhang Fan. In her mind, she was viciously gesturing at his head. Then, reluctantly, she reached out her hands to massage his shoulders. Of course, she didn't do it gently. Every squeeze was with all her strength. Fortunately, Zhang Fan had broken through to the 9th layer of Qi Cultivation. His flesh was much tougher than ordinary people's. So her full strength felt just right to Zhang Fan. "Not bad, your strength is just right. It seems you do have some talent for this kind of work," Zhang Fan complimented. This made Chen Silin anxious. She didn't want this no-one shadow guard to appreciate her. She wanted him to dislike her. So after just a couple of squeezes, she pretended to be exhausted, panting, "I can't go on, my hands are too tired. I'm exhausted." Really? She had only squeezed a few times? Even a fool could see that she was deliberately slacking off. Just as he was about to insist she continue. Suddenly, he noticed something. Your pulse seems a bit off." Zhang Fan turned around and grabbed her wrist to check her pulse. But Chen Silin quickly withdrew her hand, feeling a surge of disgust in her heart. "You're getting closer and closer. First, it was massaging shoulders, now you're seizing the opportunity to hold my hand. Next step, you'll initiate more intimate contact, right? I can see right through you." Zhang Fan's image involuntarily floated into her mind. Also a person with great skills. How humble and courteous was Zhang Fan. Every time he was alone with her, Zhang Fan always kept his distance and maintained gentlemanly behavior. Unlike this no-one shadow guard, looking for ways to take advantage, it was truly repulsive. He couldn't even compare to 1% of Zhang Fan. "No need, I'm not ill," Chen Silin coldly refused. But Zhang Fan genuinely detected something. He looked at her in surprise, observing her complexion, yet found everything normal. "Neither ill nor healthy, it is indeed strange. Miss Chen, do not hide your illness out of fear of medicines. I'm not trying to trick you. Let me check your pulse, one look and I'll know." Chen Silin sneered inwardly. "Failing to take advantage, you resort to scaring me." She wouldn't fall for it. "No need, I am perfectly fine." She rolled her eyes and pointed to the dinner on the table impolitely. "Young master, you'd better hurry and eat. After you're done, I'll have a maid send you back to your room to rest." She was determined not to let this no-one shadow guard succeed. But Zhang Fan was genuinely worried about her condition. That pulse, it wasn't just some minor ailment. Considering the time she had helped him hide the whereabouts of the 3-star soul master from an unknown, powerful enemy. Zhang Fan stood up and said, "Apologies, Miss Chen." Chen Silin was startled and hurriedly got up, crossing her hands in front of her chest, warily saying, "What are you trying to do?" Without saying a word, Zhang Fan took a few quick strides over. He reached out to grab her wrist. "Don't you dare!" Chen Silin exclaimed, retreating in panic. But there was a raised platform behind her. She stumbled and fell backward. It wouldn't have mattered, but she grabbed Zhang Fan's hand, pulling him down with her. And so an embarrassing scene occurred. Zhang Fan landed right on top of Chen Silin, their foreheads pressed together. They could feel each other's breathing. Just a little closer and their lips would have touched. Even Zhang Fan, despite being a man, blushed instantly and quickly got up, saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose." But Chen Silin was trembling with anger. Indeed, just as she had predicted, this shameless guy would find ways to create intimate contact. The next step would probably be directly advancing. Chen Silin was scared. She stopped hiding her intentions, got up and backed away, saying coldly, "Sir, please have some self-respect. I already have someone in my heart. I will not accept any other man. If you dare to come any closer, I would rather die than let you." Huh. Zhang Fan was stunned. Did Chen Silin misunderstand something? "Miss Chen, listen to me, actually. There's no need to explain." Chen Silin interrupted him loudly. "I know what you're thinking better than you do. Yes, you saved my entire Chen family and we should do everything to thank you. But I can't marry you. I hope you understand." Zhang Fan felt his forehead throbbing with veins. He took off his mask and said, "Chen Silin, what exactly do you have in your head?"